First off, let me call to order this meeting of the Board of County Commissioners on March 14th, 2023. Roll call, please.
Commissioner Barnett. Commissioner Baxter.
Here.
Commissioner Bernard.
Here.
Commissioner Marino.
Here.
Vice Mayor Sachs.
Here.
Mayor Weiss.
Here.
Commissioner Woodward.
Here.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. And will Commissioner Marino please lead us in our invocation and Pledge of Allegiance? If you can stand, please rise.
Thank you. Please bow your heads with me. Let us pray silently together, each one of us according to our beliefs. Let us offer thanks for the blessings of fellowship around us. Let us be a source of hope for those in need. Let the feelings of love, kindness, and a well-directed yet gentle spirit always be reflected in our actions. And as my mom always says, let's leave the world a better place than we found it. Amen. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. Madam Administrator, do we have any deletions, substitutions, or additions?
Yes, Mayor, Vice Mayor, members of the board. On page 94, 3FF1 was renumbered to 3D1. On page 95, item C, there was a title change. Instead of a proclamation, it is a certificate of recognition, Palm Trans most frequent riders. On page 95, item L, it's an add-on proclamation declaring March 21st through the 27th as National Agricultural Week. On page 95, item M, it's an add-on proclamation, March 14th, Palm Beach County Fire Rescue Advanced Life Support Team Day. That concludes my additions, deletions, and substitutions.
All righty. Is there a motion to adopt the amended agenda? I have a motion by Commissioner Marino, a second by Vice Mayor Sachs. All in favor, all opposed. That item carries 7-0. Moving on to the consent agenda. Are there any items that any commissioner would like to pull from the consent agenda?
Yes,
Commissioner
Mayor.
Barnett, you are recognized.
Thank you, Mayor. I would like to pull item Q3 from the agenda, the consent agenda, and have it placed on the regular agenda.
So that would be item 3Q3.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so we have a request to pull item 3Q3 by Commissioner Barnett. Are there any other items that anybody would like to pull? Seeing none, we will move forward with the consent agenda, less item 3Q3. Would somebody like to make a motion on the consent agenda?
So moved.
Okay, Vice Mayor Sachs makes a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Second.
And Commissioner Baxter is the second. All in favor, all opposed, that motion carries 7-0. Now we'll move on to item 3Q3.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. This item involves appointments to the Criminal Justice Commission, recommendations by the Economic Council for 4 individuals as new appointees, all of whom are fine individuals. I've had a chance to meet and speak with them all, and I plan to vote for each and every one of them for approval, and I would encourage my fellow board members on the commission to do the same. However, there's a larger discussion that needs to be had with regards to representation at large on the Criminal Justice Commission. As a county commissioner, I serve as the representative to the Criminal Justice Commission from District 3, a majority Hispanic district, which has absolutely zero representation on the Criminal Justice Commission. I know I've been talking with folks in staff, particularly Todd Bonlaren, and the Executive Director for the Criminal Justice Commission, Virginia, who have been working very hard to correct this deficiency or lack of representation, which I consider to be quite an injustice for having lasted so long. It needs to be corrected immediately. And I know there are folks in this audience who came here today who would like to speak on the matter. and I'd love to hear what they have to say before we have a vote. Now, again, I want to thank the Economic Council for their appointments. They're good people. I plan to vote for every one of them. Again, I want to encourage the entire Board of County Commissioners to do the same. But I think before we hear from the public on this, I was hoping Mr. Von Laren could talk a little bit about the work that you and staff have done with the Economic Council to correct this lack of representation among Hispanics who need to have a voice on the Criminal Justice Commission. We discuss on the Criminal Justice Commission issues that are very important to the majority of Hispanics in my district and across Palm Beach County. So I'll turn it over to you, if you would please, Todd.
Thank you, Commissioner Mayor. Commissioners, also joining me is Helene Svid from the County Attorney's Office. Unfortunately, Regina Herring can't be with us today from the CJC, but I'm here on her behalf as well. We have embarked on a lengthy process at the CJC, and we're really right in the middle of it right now on the strategic plan of the CJC and really developing some of those initiatives as we move forward and codifying those in documents, much like this board has done from a strategic planning under the direction of our administrator on what our strategic priorities are for the county. And part of that looked at potential reorganization of the CJC as well. Part of it was aligning us to statute because we were a little misaligned from statute. There were things that we needed to be doing, and even though we were pioneers as being the first CJC, we needed to have other things that were structurally correct by state law in order to be recipients of some of those grants. And within the makeup of the CJC, we have 21 public sector members, 10 private sector members represented from members and others from the Economic Council, as well as a member of the clergy. And we have done a really deep dive into looking at our diversity on the CJC and how we continue to work and diversify that without expanding a 32-member committee even more. And I do want to say, first and foremost, thank you to Michelle Jacobs from the Economic Council, who has worked really hand in hand with us on doing this. And if you look at some of the members of the new appointments that we have, really reflective of a lot of the conversations that have been going on with the CJC. We have a new African-American member in Ernie Ellison, Julia DiTalo. We have somebody representative of our career source community, Darcy Davis, with mental health background, all part of that. But also, one of the areas that we're looking at is Hispanic representation. We're looking at individuals who have lived experience, people with re-entry experience as well, who can bring that to the CJC also. So the Economic Council still has some additional positions that are open that will be coming back with recommendations, and we'll work with them and with some of the feedback from the Board of County Commissioners, but also as we rework some of the makeup of the commission itself. We think that there'll be some other opportunities to increase some of that diversity and hopefully some of the Hispanic leadership on this particular board as well. So I just wanted to kind of give you a little insight into some of those workings. Some of that will have to come back as an ordinance to the board, as an ordinance change, because a lot of this is embedded in that ordinance, but we're working down that road right now and hope that that's forthcoming in the very foreseeable future. So, Mayor, thank you.
Thank you. Are there any questions for Mr. Von Laren? Seeing none, we have some speakers. You'll have 3 minutes.
We have 3 cards on this, Brandon Cabrera, Jorge Garrido, and Maria Antuña.
All right. Good morning, Mr. Mayor and Commissioners of the Board. My name is Brandon Cabrera. I am the President and CEO of the Brandnex Company, a local real estate development company here in Palm Beach County. I am also a trustee with the Chamber of Commerce of the Palm Beaches. Today, I am here to just voice my objection to these appointees, and I urge you to consider, more Hispanic representation. And I want to point out that these appointees, I'm sure, are good people, and I have nothing against them personally. Nothing at all. But the fact of the matter is, the Criminal Justice Commission has a diversity problem. And I just want to lay out a few facts for you. As it was mentioned, the commission's makeup currently sits at 71% white, 26% African American. And we compare those to the county demographics. Currently, according to the 2020 census, the white population is standing at about 57%. The African American population stands at about 17%. And then the Hispanic population stands about 23%. That's 23% of the population is Hispanic. That's a quarter. A quarter of the demographic is Hispanic. Yet there is no Hispanic representation on this commission. So I asked myself, why? Why is that a fact? How can this be? This is a commission that will ultimately advise the Board of County Commissioners on which policies and programs to support. And I think it is incredibly vital that there is Hispanic members on this commission. And right now we have a chance to do that. Right now we have a chance to make sure that 23% of the county's demographic has a voice on this commission. So please, I urge you to consider giving Hispanics a voice on this commission. Thank you.
Thank you. Jorge Garrido?
Mr. Mayor, esteemed commissioners, good morning. My name is Jorge Garrido, and I'm here representing the Hispanic vote of Palm Beach County. We currently have chapters in 4 counties in Florida, including Broward, Lee, Collier, and Palm Beach. We anticipate expanding into Central Florida as well. The primary mission of the Hispanic vote is to empower the Hispanic community by ensuring that our elected officials are giving voice to our citizens through appointment to advisory boards. Advisory boards are of vital importance to our community because, for many of us, membership in these boards can open opportunities in the civic, economic, and political realms. Yet for too long, qualified members of our community have been ignored and passed over for often less qualified members of other ethnic groups. Appointments to advisory boards have been more about who you know rather than what you know. In 2019, when we formed the Hispanic vote of Palm Beach County, we set a goal to allow for a 4-year time frame to give us the opportunity to meet our county and municipal elected officials. With the exception of Commissioner Sachs, we have had the opportunity to speak to each of you in the past about our mission and the importance of appointment of Hispanics to advisory boards. Unfortunately, our pleas have fallen on mostly deaf ears. Based on data extracted from the county's database, U.S. commissioners have the power to appoint approximately 569 citizens to the 60 boards and committees. This data also shows that of the 569 appointments, only 35 Hispanics from our community have been provided with the opportunity to participate. This is a disappointing and disheartening number. To say that such a large percentage of our county has no voice in the way business is conducting is a travesty. I find it befuddling that important committees, such as the Citizen Advisory Committee on Health and Human Services, the Fair Housing and Equal Employment Board, the Building Code Advisory Committee, the Criminal Justice Commission, have zero Hispanic representation. The composition language of some of these committees even dictate, quote unquote, membership shall be representative of the racial, ethnic, and geographic diversity of Palm Beach County. Yet even this highly specific and direct language hasn't been enough to compel the commission in the past to provide our community with the opportunity to participate. My ask today is that from this point forward, you think of Hispanics when you make appointments to these boards. I ask that you recall that your duty is to represent all ethnic groups in your community equally. If you don't know enough Hispanics, then you need to expand your horizons just in the slightest. We're your neighbors, your colleagues, your doctors, your lawyers, your financial advisors, your pastors, teachers, firefighters, police, veterans, and government employees. I have asked other leaders in other Hispanic organizations, such as the Hispanic Chamber of Commerce of Palm Beach County, the Florida State Hispanic Chamber of Commerce, the Hispanic Bar Association, the Latino Coalition of the Palm Beaches, our religious leaders, and members of the Republican Democrat Party, and many other leaders in our business community to join us in this effort. We hope that you will begin to see us. We're here and we're ready to serve our community. Finally, I would like to thank Commissioner Barnett. When you were appointed by the governor, many of us were upset. We wanted a Hispanic commissioner. Yet, while we still want to see a Hispanic commissioner on the county commission, I have not personally witnessed anyone work as hard to get to know his constituents as you have in the past few weeks and the past month. Your outreach has been phenomenal, and we appreciate your efforts. Thank you.
And the last card I have is Maria Antonia.
Good morning, Mayor and Commissioners. I'm Maria Antuna, the CEO of the Hispanic Chamber of Commerce of Palm Beach County. I basically have familiar information, so I'm going to bypass the same information that has been shared as I echo what they have said. But I do want to share something else that was not mentioned already. A new report examining how Latinos interact with the criminal justice system found that police and jails rarely track their racial and ethnic data, complicating how researchers track potential disparities. The big picture is an estimated 1.2 million people are currently in the nation's state and federal prisons today. The University of California Irvine School of Social Ecology did a study. Author Nancy Rodriguez says she hopes the study will be the first of many to look how Latinos interact with criminal justice systems, because having accurate data will lead to reform and more racial equity. Please note that in that study was included Charleston County, South Carolina, Harrison County, Texas, Oregon, and Palm Beach County, Florida, if we can all believe that. That was part of the study that was done. They found just 30% of record management system captured Latino or Hispanic ethnic data separately from racial characters, while the rest captured Latino as a single race. They also found that someone's race and ethnic is most often simply determined by a police officer. Police and jail departments that have the ability to track race and ethnic didn't do it well and had a lot of missing data, which hurt attempts to measure outcomes. So I come to you saying, if we don't have representation in our own commission here in Palm Beach County for Hispanics, how can we then identify all this and determine all this to find out where the Hispanic disparity is, if we're not even getting good data that is being recorded on the Hispanic side? In summary, I will say that upon reviewing the agenda, this is what caught my eye, and also reviewing online every one of the members and private sector that are now sitting at the commission, not one Hispanic is on there. Although I agree with who is on there, I'm not opposing who is on there, and I'm not opposing the nominees. I'm opposing the fact that there is not one single consideration, not one single nomination for one Hispanic. So I ask why. Is it because we feel that we're not qualified? I can tell you right now, I can think of 5 people right now that are extremely qualified and should be part of this commission. Why, we don't understand, but I think it's time that we take a second look at what's going on in this county with the Hispanics. We've been overlooked over and over again, and it's time that we are considered for the seats that are always available in this county but never given an opportunity. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. All right, moving back to item 3Q3, we are looking at the appointment of Ernie Ellison, Michelle Suskauer, Julia Datolo, and Darcy Davis, and a reappointment of Lauren Whetstone and Dr. Rachel Dossicall. All right, do we have a motion?
Mr. Mayor, you have comment.
Oh, comment, I'm sorry, I missed that. Mac, go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'd like to, my motion would be for us to postpone this item and for the Criminal Justice Commission to come back and bring us a different slate of people that would, that would basically address some of these issues, and that's my motion.
Okay, we have a motion by Commissioner Bernard. Second. We have a second by Vice Mayor Sachs. Now, let's see, next. Commissioners, or Vice Mayor Sachs, you're recognized.
Thank you so much. I think that it's important that we look at actually all our committee appointments, and I'm very honored and proud to see members of the Hispanic community come forward. I sat on this commission as an attorney because of my background in criminal law, and it is really very important that we have people sitting on this Criminal Justice Commission that represents all of the people of this county. So I am very proud to and very happy and honored to see members of our community stand up. And I am very proud of my colleague, Commissioner Barnett, for bringing it to our attention. And now that the window's been open, let's open the door and let's look at the other committees as well. But right now, I strongly second the motion made by Commissioner Bernard. Let's review this, and in the meantime, Mayor, we may want to renew all of our various committees because your voices need to be heard. And these committees are set up for you, the members of our community, to have your voices heard. So thank you, Commissioner Barnett, and thank you, Commissioner Bernard, for making this happen. And I strongly second it and promote the review of all of our committees. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. Okay, moving down the line, Commissioner Woodward, you're recognized.
Yes, thank you. And I would third, if that was an option, this motion. I would just like to say I'm strongly encouraged to see people coming out to talk about these boards. As a brand new commissioner, I was a bit overwhelmed by the number of boards I need to make appointments to. So I would encourage anyone out there right now, or anyone who's watching, we actually do need feedback from our constituents on who's willing to serve on what boards, what you're interested in. And I would encourage you to reach out to my office, and hopefully not speaking out of turn, but all of us. We are interested in having new people on these boards and sharing the information that's out there. This is a fantastic way for you as citizens to get involved in your local government. So thank you for coming out today. Thank you for bringing this up, Commissioner. I look forward to the future.
Thank you, Commissioner Barnett.
Thank you again, Mayor. Yes, this discussion had to be had. Unfortunately, this has been a problem that has persisted too long, but it seems it can be addressed now. And I would love and would request, if I may, that staff take this matter under serious advisement and investigate how we can add additional members to the Criminal Justice Commission. I know it's a large commission already, 32 members, without removing any current members who serve a valuable role on the commission, while also adding those voices from the Hispanic community that are not just unrepresented, but have been totally disenfranchised. They deserve to have their voices heard on this Criminal Justice Commission. Again, I want to repeat, there's nothing I have against any of the proposed recommended appointees from the Economic Council. I've had a chance to meet and speak with all of them. I would vote to approve them, but I would let the Board of County Commissioners make that decision. Once again, I hope staff will investigate ways we can add representation, appropriate representation on the Criminal Justice Commission and every other board that commissioners and organizations have the ability to appoint members to that serve an important government purpose. All voices need to be heard. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Commissioner Baxter, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mayor. I just wanted to thank Jorge. I want to thank Maria. I wanted to thank Brandon for coming to speak. And absolutely, we should have some more representation on this board and potentially others. So thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. All right. Thank you very much, Commissioner Barnett, for bringing this to the board's attention. I agree with the concerns that have been brought up here. So, and I also support my colleague's motion to postpone. So with that, if there's any other further discussion, I don't see any. All in favor of postponing this item, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? That motion carries 7-0. Okay, so this, we are now done with consent, and we will be going on to special presentations. We have a very full special presentations for today. I'm going to ask that those that are going to be speaking on behalf of the organization, if you can limit your comments in total to under 3 minutes, we would all much appreciate that. And with that, we will get started. And first we have a presentation for the International Maintenance Conference Award to Palm Beach County Water Utilities. Oh, there it is. It's not quite as nice as the World Series trophy, but it's still a very nice award.
But it means so much more, I can assure you. Thank you, Mayor and Vice Mayor, Commissioners, Administrator Baker. It is my distinct pleasure to serve at the request of Administrator Baker with some administrative oversight over this fine Department of Water Utilities. And what we have seen over the last year is them continue to get recognized at the local level, the state level, the national level, and the international level as one of the best water utilities in the state, the country, and the world. And here representing the utility is Ali Bayat to make a couple of comments as we are looping some video for you as well of some of the presentations of this incredible award that we're here, and we are going to be presenting this to the administrator and the commission. So Ali.
Morning, Mayor Wise, Mayor Sachs, Commissioners, Ms. Baker. 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, the PBC Water team demonstrates our commitment to water quality, customer satisfaction, and continuous improvements, and we are proud to say that our efforts have been recognized nationally and internationally. In December last year, Palm Beach County have received the Upward Award during the International Maintenance Conference, which is considered one of the most important events in the reliability world. We have prepared a short video as you're watching it now for you to share the award ceremony, as well as the highlights and some of the other departments' key accomplishment back in 2022. Thank you for having us, and we hope you enjoy the video. If you can get the audio up. Sure. Can we have the entire team come forward? Mr. Acton, you go ahead.
How you doing? John Acton, Assistant Department Director.
Good morning, Tony Armelli, Operations and Maintenance Manager.
Good morning, Joe Bauer, Special Projects Construction Crew Chief.
Good morning, Melly Tungle, Technical Compliance.
Good morning, Khadidra Cassie, Water Utilities Lab Technician.
Good morning, Stephanie Marsh Corinthian, Assistant Department Director.
Anthony Deutsch, Plant Superintendent in the Glades.
Good morning, Alan Mila, Customer Service Lead, Service Tech.
And Mayor and Commissioners, Administrator, if you can indulge with us, if we can bring our utility team up to present you with this award and take a photograph with you, we would very much appreciate that. Thank you.
All right.
Be good.
Well, thank you.
Perfect.
Thank you all.
Oh, what'd you say? You spoke of my leadership program.
I did, okay.
Thanks, guys. I'm gonna bring you some honey tomorrow.
I'll be gone, but thank you. I have.
Going back up to town?
Yeah, going up. Okay. All right, moving along. We have a proclamation declaring March 20th through 24th as Government Finance Professionals Week in Palm Beach County presented by District 1.
I might have some. I do, I'll drop it by.
Yeah, these things are working pretty good, though.
That's because it's got honey in it.
All right.
Okay, so we have A proclamation declaring March 20th through 24th as Government Finance Professionals Week. And I know I have folks in the audience who are coming up to be on the receiving end of this. Dorrit Miller, Sherry Brown, Beverly Thompson, and somebody from the clerk's office. Oh, I like this. We wouldn't be able to do our job if you weren't doing your job, so thank you very much. So, this is a proclamation declaring March 20th through 24th, 2023 as Government Finance Professionals Week. Whereas government finance professionals serve their organizations by managing day-to-day accounting operations, establishing financial policies, and performing other important fiscal roles that improve the safety, livability, and vitality of our local community. And whereas government finance professionals are dedicated to providing fiscal stewardship and accountability to taxpayers and elected officials by safekeeping public funds, and whereas government finance professionals provide financial transparency through timely publications of budget information and financial statements that meet the highest standards of government accounting, and whereas government finance professionals strive to remain true to the values that drive their work as public servants, and whereas the Florida Government Finance Officers Association is an association founded in 1937 that serves more than 3,300 professionals from state, county, and city governments, schools, colleges and universities, special districts, and private firms. And whereas the Palm Beach chapter of the FGFOA serves more than 300 professionals from county and city government, the school districts, special districts, and private firms. And whereas members of the FGFOA adhere to legal, moral, and professional standards of conduct in the fulfillment of professional responsibilities as set forth in the Code of Ethics. And whereas the FGFOA and its Palm Beach chapter provide opportunities through education, networking, leadership, and information. And whereas Government Finance Professionals Week, sponsored by the FGFOA and all of its member governmental organizations, is a week-long series of activities aimed at recognizing government finance professionals and the vital services they provide to our state, county, and community. Now therefore be it proclaimed by the Board of County Commissioners of Palm Beach County assembled in regular session this 14th day of March 2023, that March 20th through 24th, 2023 in Palm Beach County is hereby proclaimed Government Finance Professionals Week. And from somebody that reads the budget from pillar to post, and you always yell at me when I ask you to print out the 1,300 pages. I much appreciate you all being here today. And I know we've got lots of folks here, so who wants to speak first?
Hi, I'm Beverly Thompson. I'm the president of the FGFOA Palm Beach County chapter. On behalf of the Palm Beach chapter of the Florida Government Finance Officers Association and all government finance professionals working in Palm Beach County, I would like to thank the board for this proclamation. Our members work hard every day behind the scenes to ensure that your tax dollars are properly safeguarded. Thank you for this acknowledgement.
Anyone else? That's it? Picture.
Hi, good morning. So I'm not Clerk Abruzzo, who sends his regrets for not being able to be here today as he's on clerk business in Tallahassee. But I did want to take a minute, Mayor Weiss, Commissioners, Administrator Baker, and thank you, Commissioner Marino, for sponsoring this. This actually means an awful lot to our members. My name is Shannon Chessman, and I'm the Chief of Staff for Clerk Abruzzo and the most recent past president of the state FGFOA. So our members work together with yours every single day, again, to bring transparency and accountability. And that is good government, and that brings faith and trust into our government. So your willingness to do this recognition for our members who are behind the scenes, who you don't see every day, who often feel a little bit forgotten behind the scenes, means the world to them. And I can tell you that from firsthand experience, having spoken to them at the state conferences. There are 3,000 members in FGFOA, and each and every one of them looks forward to the recognition. Clerk Abruzzo, I would be remiss if I didn't thank the 100-plus finance professionals from our office, some of which are here today. They work on your behalf in the Comptroller Division. So again, thank you very much for the recognition, and Clerk Abruzzo again sends his regrets.
Okay.
It's my pleasure today to recognize Palm Strand's most frequent riders. Would Jorge Alvarez, Robert Rocco, and Anita Newman, if you're here, please come forward. And also, we'd like to have Palm Trans Executive Director Clinton B. Forbes, the Amalgamated Transit Union Local 1577 President Dwight Mattingly, and Assistant County Administrator Todd Bonlaren, please come forward. Good morning, good morning. This certificate of recognition is presented to Palm Trans most frequent riders: Jorge Alvarez, Robert Rocco, and Anita Newman. Whereas the Paradise Pass smart card and app were launched on November 14th, 2021, improving the efficiency and convenience of riding Palm Tran. And whereas the Paradise Pass fare system has been widely adopted by riders, been downloaded more than 23,000 times on smart devices, had more than 1.25 million taps, and it continues to increase in both. And whereas riders can download the Paradise Pass app and get a free week of transit when they add $5 of funds using the promo code SAVINGS. Did you hear me? They can add $5 of funds using the promo code SAVINGS during the month of March. And whereas Palm Trans most frequent rider, Jorge Alvarez, has tapped his Paradise Pass nearly 1,400 times, Robert Rocco has tapped more than 1,200 times, and Anita Newman nearly 1,100 times, resulting in hundreds of dollars of savings due to fare capping technology. And whereas these riders have used the Paradise Pass going to and from work for shopping and leisure activities, and now therefore, the Palm Beach County Board of County Commissioners celebrates and recognizes Jorge Alvarez, Robert Rocco, and Anita Newman on March 14th, 2023 for their utilization of the Paradise Pass and ridership of Palm Tran, presented on this 14th day of March 2023 by the Palm Beach County Board of County Commissioners. Congratulations. So we'll open up for remarks from Clinton B. Forbes, Robert Rocco, and Jorge Alvarez.
Thank you, Commissioner, Mayor, and Board. Thank you for this recognition. I would also like to thank Administrator Baker for her leadership and support of this project, as well as our administrative leader assigned to us, Todd Bonlaren, Assistant County Administrator, for his leadership and support. He was there in the trenches with us when we implemented this just a little over a year ago. And so, Commissioner, again, thank you for really putting the names and faces of our riders before you. You know, we implemented this project nearly a year ago, and it has increased the convenience to our customers. It has rendered savings to them, and we're very proud of that. It also has benefited our organization. It's made us plan a transit system more effectively. It provides more data to actually know and see where people want to go. And we can actually pinpoint the boardings and alightings of people who use the Paradise Pass. So after a little over a year, you know, in celebrating our yearly anniversary, we thought, you know, why don't we determine who rides our system the most and who used the Paradise Pass the most? And so we went into the data, and lo and behold, we found these three people as our top most frequent riders of PalmTran. So Commissioner, I am proud, Board, I'm proud along with Commissioner Bernard to present to you our most frequent riders. And I'll tell you, these folks ride a lot. As you heard from Commissioner Bernard, you know, Mr. Alvarez has tapped his Paradise Pass or app 1,400 times in less than a year and counting. Robert Rocco has tapped 1,200 times and counting. And Anita Newman, who I understand rides along, has tapped more than 1,200 times. She had to be at work and she couldn't be here today. So, Commissioner, if I may, just 30 seconds more, I'd like you to hear from your most frequent riders. Mr. Alvarez?
Good morning, Mayor, Commissioners. My name is George Alvarez, and I'm a full-time resident here in West Palm, born and raised. I just want to give my appreciation to PalmTran, Mr. Forbes, for recognizing us. And, you know, just like I said, without the system, I would be probably stuck at home a lot. You know, with my disability, I can't drive, so, you know, it lets me have a livelihood. And I just, you know, I can't say thank you enough. Thank you, Mr. Forbes. Thank you.
Mayor, Commissioners, my name's Robert Rocco. Yes, I do tap a lot. Never in a million years I'd think I'd be standing here, but it is a privilege, and I work in Boca, so I go back and forth to work this way. On the weekends, a lot of times, you know, I'll hop on a bus to go to a store. It's very convenient. Paradise Pass is very efficient. It's time, you know, it's time saving. It's cost efficient. It saves me on wear and tear on my car and gas. So I do use it a lot, and I do like it a lot. And I thank PalmTran for that. And I think more people, and I think that we need to encourage more people to get on the PalmTran and to get on the bus and keep their cars inside for a while and travel that way, because it is a very efficient way of traveling. So thank you.
Commissioner, I failed to mention that PalmTran is rewarding our most frequent riders with loading their pass with 7 months of fare-free transit.
Thank you, and congratulations to all of you. The bus operators would like to say thank you for riding. We are in the business of carrying your citizens, our citizens here in Palm Beach County, and we do that in a safe manner as well as upkeep of the buses. But one thing I need to say is this Paradise Pass system has made it safer for the operators and the operation of the system, because there's no more cash that has to go into a fare box and no more challenges for that cash if they're short. And this has really increased the ability on boarding more quickly and frequently. So thank you for what you're doing to help us with that.
Well, since we have a lot of these, I'm going to go ahead while they're taking photos, because there's a lot of reading that's going to take place. So I am proud to do the proclamation declaring March 2023 as Florida Bicycle Month, and joining me are Valerie Nielsen from the Palm Beach TPA as Executive Director, where I serve as Vice Chair, Brian Rusher, also from the TPA, and also Valentina from TPA, Todd Von Laren, David Ricks, and Jennifer Cirillo. Would you all please come up? And we're happy to do this year after year. I'm happy to be doing this today. So we are declaring March 2023 as Florida Bicycle Month, whereas Palm Beach County residents and visitors engage in bicycling as a viable, environmental, sound form of transportation and an excellent form of physical activity and recreation. And whereas the state of Florida designates March as Florida Bicycle Month and Palm Beach County recognizes it locally. And whereas Florida Bicycle Month features a number of fitness opportunities and events for riders of all ages to enjoy throughout the month at various parks and locations in Palm Beach County. And whereas the recognition of Florida Bicycle Month raises awareness of bicycling and promotes physical activity and healthy lifestyles by elevating bicycling as a more widely accepted choice of transportation. And whereas the Palm Beach Transportation Planning Agency plans and recommends projects to make bicycling more accessible and promotes comprehensive community education efforts aimed at improving bicycle safety. And whereas Palm Beach County has an ever-expanding designated or enhanced bicycle lane network and over 250 miles of existing and 745 miles of planned facilities to create a safe, connected system of bicycle infrastructure. Now therefore be it proclaimed by the Board of County Commissioners of Palm Beach County, Florida, assembled in regular session this 14th day of March, that March 2023 in Palm Beach County is hereby proclaimed Florida Bicycle Month. Thank you. Anybody want to say a couple words?
Thank you so much, Commissioner Marino, and as you mentioned, our Vice Chair for the Palm Beach Transportation Planning Agency, for your support. We're so excited to celebrate Florida Bicycle Month again with the county and the state of Florida to celebrate bicycling as a safe and healthy form of transportation and physical activity. And thank you to all of our commissioners and board members for continuing to support and create a safe and connected bicycle network here in Palm Beach County. So thanks again.
Thank you. Thank you, Commissioner.
Would Kitty London please come forward? Senator Powell and Representative Edmonds couldn't be here since they're in Tallahassee, so they definitely send their regrets this morning. I've been meaning to try to do this recognition for so long, but Kitty, I just realized that, you know, I wanted to do this recognition during Women's History Month because this is important to me, to Senator Powell's, Representative Edmonds, to make sure that we recognize you for your work and to also promote your new show. I was looking at the flyer. It says, "Come watch us." 9 a.m. starting on April 2nd, every Sunday. The station is WSFL TV, South Florida. And the name of the show is What's Poppin'? PBC. All right, so So today we're going to present this certificate of recognition, which is presented to Kenya Kitty London Madison, and to her family who's also here, for her new show, which is called What's Poppin' PBC, accomplishments, and her dedicated years of service to the residents of Palm Beach County. Congratulations on this 14th day of March 2023. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Bernard. I did not come with a speech because I didn't know I could speak, but I did want to just say something really quick. I had it written down, and this is really dedicated to all the women in here, all the women who will see us today. I am woman, hear me roar. I demand attention when I walk through the door. I'm not bitter nor angry, but not one to ignore. Because I switch up the game, you don't know what I have in store. I could be sipping tea with my ladies as I chit and chatter while I'm on the laptop focusing on climbing the corporate ladder. Oh, I think I broke a nail, but you won't hear me whine. Taking my kids to school while I'm in school because I stay on the grind. I think I have superpowers mixed with sharp, keen intellect. I think I've earned, what did Aretha say? Something about respect? As I change my wigs with my mood, some call it attitude. I just say I'm a woman, phenomenal woman, filled with gratitude. Oh. And the author was me. I wrote that. Thank you so much, everyone.
Thank you. While they're taking their picture, could I have Arinia Del Bosque, Lisa Wilson, Natalie Diaz-Rodriguez, Dr. James Green, and Taruna Malhorta join me? Good morning. We are declaring March 25th through 31st, 2023 as the National Farm Worker Awareness Week in Palm Beach County. Whereas National Farm Worker Awareness Week is an opportunity to effect positive change and to stand in solidarity with the people who feed our nation, providing an opportunity to bring attention to the multiple challenges farm workers face and to recognize the important contributions they make to our lives daily. And whereas farm workers perform essential but often unappreciated duties in a potentially dangerous workplace that includes heavy machinery operation, applications of crop protection products, and physically demanding outdoor environmental conditions, and to help farm workers maintain good health, the Palm Beach County Cooperative Extension Service offers programs in agricultural safety and assistance with state-required certifications for pesticide handlers and applications. And local organizations such as our Farm Worker Coordinating Council Palm Beach County also offer assistance through case management to help preserve family stability, distribute daily essentials, and provide transportation, translation services, and educational programs. Palm Beach County's Family Self-Sufficiency Program through the Community Service Block Grant offers migrant and seasonal farm workers and their dependents the opportunities to strengthen their abilities to achieve economic self-sufficiency through education, skills training, and supportive services. In fiscal year 2022, the Farm Worker Career Development Program assisted 13 participants in obtaining full-time, unsubsidized employment above $10 an hour in occupation categories that included CDL drivers, construction, security guards, certified nursing assistants, and others. Now, therefore, be it proclaimed by the Palm Beach County Board of County Commissioners of Florida, assembled in regular session this 14th day of March, that March 25th through 31st in Palm Beach County is now hereby proclaimed National Farm Workers Awareness Week. And I think it's important to point out, you know, as we live in a urbanized society, you go to Publix, you think that's where the food comes from. But we all know in Palm Beach County it doesn't. It comes from the fields in Palm Beach County. And those fields take human beings to plant and harvest and make those crops come to life and deliver them to our tables. So on behalf of our board, I want to make sure that our farm workers know how much they're appreciated and needed in Palm Beach County.
Good morning, Mayor, Commissioners. I just want to say thank you so very much for recognizing our important farm workers and the work that they do. Sometimes the supports that we provide helps with the disruption that they experience when they have to move from place to place. They have kids, they have family to support, and so our program provides an opportunity for them to have training and educational supports, and with the goal of giving them full-time employment so that it won't be as disruptive when the season ends. So thank you very much for this recognition, and thank you so very much to my team for the work that they continue to do with the Farm Workers Program.
Okay, while they're taking their pictures, I'd like to call up the delegates: Sheila Jaffe, Beck Andre, Janet Clark, Natalie Andre, Bob Jaffe, and Adrienne Percival. Come on, right up here. This award is for all the ladies here. And I'd like to make a special memory in memory of one of our members of the national organization, our own Michelle Damone. And in her memory. And I'd like to say that this is also, thank you, for the women of tomorrow. And one of those women is my daughter, Natasha Valentina Sachs, who's not here. She's off to San Francisco getting some work done. In memory of Michelle and for all the women who will come after us. This is for the ladies. So listen up, guys. You might learn something. This is for the National Organization of Women. We've been around for 50 years. I guess I was born about that time. And the Palm Beach County chapter of the National Organization for Women has been fighting for the rights of girls and women and for basic human rights for everyone. So this anniversary is being celebrated during March, which is International Women's Month. Do you know that the Palm Beach County chapter of the NOW is one of the largest and one of the most active chapters in the state of Florida? It was instrumental in getting this done. Ready? It started and worked on the victims of domestic abuse, the initial steps leading to the 1998 Farragut decision by the United States Supreme Court establishing employers' responsibilities regarding sexual harassment. This group, the members and the board, founded the Feminist Scholarship Fund, Families Against Court Travesties, Court Watch, and Win Now, Women's Issues Now. This chapter members and all of our supporters still working to include women in the United States Constitution through the Equal Rights Amendment, and we recognize the value of women's votes by honoring the decades of tireless work done to pass the 19th Amendment in 1920. So we in the County Commission, the members of this County Commission, as we speak for all the people of Palm Beach County, we honor our chapter of the National Organization of Women, especially during this month, and we recognize the accomplishments that this group of tireless women have done for the last 50 years. And you know what they say, you want to get something done, give it to a busy woman. And man, since we do get along. Good work. So therefore, be it proclaimed by the Board of County Commissioners of Palm Beach County, Florida, that the board recognizes your work in the 50th anniversary. So we have it proclaimed here on this date by all of us. Congratulations to the chapter of now Palm Beach County, Florida. Congratulations.
Thank you very much. I just wanted to honor two activists that we lost on March 4th. First, Corinne Miller was a longtime NOW member. She graduated from NYU in economics and English. Her mother was also an activist and sued Merrill Lynch when they fired her for taking off for Yom Kippur. She won. Her grandmother also led a support organization for Holocaust survivors from Hungary. Corinne arrived in Florida expecting to enjoy a quiet retirement after more than 40 years of civic engagement in New Jersey, just in time for the 2000 election. She quickly found the local League of Women Voters and the Palm Beach Democratic Party to share what she had learned. Corinne knew how to organize precincts, conduct research, speak on public issues, and was passionate about voting rights. Corinne was Sheila Jaffe's precinct captain for Zone 10. Corinne was a leader in getting people registered to vote and completing a vote by mail ballot. She is sorely missed. And I did want to say, and adding to the commissioner, about Michelle Damone, who was also appreciative of working with the commissioner. She was a native Floridian and a resident of Palm Beach County for the last 25 years, where she raised her children through the public school system. Michelle first became active with the community as a park advocate, and then served 4 terms in her community as a local elected official. Michelle believed in the ERA as she was raised by a single mother and her grandmother, who was widowed at a young age, raising 3 children during a time when careers were limited for women. Finally, Michelle served on the local Palm Beach County Now board. She had tremendous respect for women who blazed paths before her to secure equal opportunities for all women and all people. Michelle was a strong, wise, and vocal advocate for equality. We miss her deeply. Thank you.
My name is Sheila Jaffe. I am presently the president of the Palm Beach County chapter of NOW, which was created in 1973 by professors and community activists at FAU because of pay inequity and denial of tenure to women. Now, 50 years later, we are again fighting for our rights and survival in the state of Florida. Palm Beach County Now created the Feminist Scholarship Fund in 1996 by a generous donation in the will of a chapter member. We are a member of the FAU Foundation. The fund has provided financial assistance to over 100 women and men and students at the Center for Women, Gender, and Sexuality Studies at FAU. It is regarded as a leader with a well-recognized curriculum in the nation. Because of DIE, the threats of the demise of diversity, inclusion, and equity studies in Florida schools and universities, this valuable curriculum may cease to exist. Is Florida where knowledge and education goes to die? We will not let that happen. Please join us. Thank you.
All right, while they're taking their photograph, can I please ask Doug Wise, Jacqueline Anderson, Paul Linton, Mary Blakeney, and Whitney Carroll to please join me. Good morning. We are declaring that March 6th through 10th as 2023 is Flood Awareness Week. Whereas Palm Beach County has historically experienced severe weather in the form of extreme rainfall or tropical system events resulting in both coastal and riverine flooding And this flooding has caused damage and flood losses to homes, buildings, in all areas where they are high-risk special flood hazards or low to moderate risk flood zones. And Palm Beach County is a voluntary participant in the National Flood Insurance Program that provides property owners with the opportunity to protect themselves against flood loss through the purchase of flood insurance at reduced insurance premium rates. And the program also sets higher regulatory standards to reduce the flood risk and potential flood damage to properties. The reduction of loss of life and property damage can be achieved when appropriate flood preparedness, control, and mitigation measures are taken before a flood. Public education and awareness of potential weather hazards and methods of protections are critical to the health, safety, and welfare of our residents. The Florida Floodplain Managers Association has declared the week of March 6th through 10th as Flood Awareness Week to promote awareness and increase knowledge of flood risk, the availability of flood insurance, flood protection methods, and how to prepare for emergencies. Now, therefore, be it proclaimed by our board, Palm Beach County Commissioners in Palm Beach County, Florida, that March 6th through 10th in 2023 is Palm Beach County is hereby proclaimed Flood Awareness Week.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Thank you, Commissioners. I want to point out that flood awareness is going on right now all over the country. You don't have to look too far what's going on in California. And we have been very fortunate here. We have 31,000 policies in force right now under the NFIP with over $9 billion of insured assets. Now, that's a lot of money considering the top policy amount is $250,000 in NFIP policy. So $9 billion divided by 250,000 is a pretty big number of folks. And everybody should have insurance because most of Palm Beach County is a floodplain. We need to be aware of that. Even outside the special flood hazard areas, floods occur every day.
Thank you. Is anyone else? That's it.
Yeah, it takes a group. It really does take all these people to do this stuff. We have engineering involved, emergency management, PZB, David Ricks, Scott Cantor didn't even get up. We don't even have room for everybody, but all these people, all these departments work together, pull together to protect our residents.
Thank you.
Stand in the back.
Okay.
Get up here, Dave. Get up here.
Okay, while they're doing pictures, could I please have from Palm Beach County Public Safety, Nicole Bishop and Stephanie Sinoha, and then from Wellington Regional Medical Center, Pam Tahan.
Congratulations. Thank you for all you do.
You're the one speaking? Okay. Sorry, I have some allergies. Okay, thank you. Everyone, come on up. We are declaring April 2023 as Sexual Assault Awareness Month. Whereas Sexual Assault Awareness Month uplifts year-round efforts that call attention to the prevalence of sexual violence and its widespread impacts, while promoting responses that lead to positive cultural change. And whereas the goal of this month is to raise public awareness about sexual violence, provide education on individual and societal impacts, and encourage community-level responses to sexual violence. And whereas the theme of this year's Sexual Assault Awareness Month campaign in Florida is Drawing Connections, Prevention Demands Equity. This theme calls on all individuals, communities, organizations, and institutions to promote change in people and the systems surrounding us to build racial equity and respect. And whereas Palm Beach County Victim Services Certified Rape Crisis Center is the county's certified sexual assault program that provides confidential, trauma-focused services to survivors of sexual violence, regardless of when the victimization occurred and whether the assault was reported to law enforcement.
And whereas in 2022, Palm Beach County Victim Services Certified Rape Crisis Center provided 12,002 services to 565 men, women, and children who were victims of sexual assault, including 217 forensic exams. Whereas Wellington Regional Medical Center is recognized for generously providing space and support for the forensic exam site known as the Butterfly House. It has been located on the premises since 2011. Whereas addressing sexual violence involves citizen engagement and action. When efforts of our local sexual assault program are amplified, this promotes our community message to survivors that services are readily available. Everyone must be part of a victim-centered change that improves systemic responses to all survivors. And whereas all residents are urged to join advocates and community members in raising awareness about sexual violence, centering the needs of those who have been harmed, and advancing support for every survivor. Now, therefore, be it proclaimed by the Board of County Commissioners of Palm Beach County, Florida, assembled today on this 14th day of March 2023, that April 2023 in Palm Beach County is hereby proclaimed Sexual Assault Awareness Month. Thank you.
Hi, good morning, everyone. I'm Nicole Bishop, Director of Victim Services and Justice Services for Palm Beach County. On behalf of Public Safety Director Stephanie Shanahaw and my staff at Palm Beach County Victim Services, we want to thank Mayor Weiss, the Board of County Commissioners, and County Administrator Baker for your continued support. Also, a special thanks to Commissioner Woodward for sponsoring this proclamation. So as you've heard, April is Sexual Assault Awareness Month, and the theme this year is Drawing Connections, Prevention Demands Equity. The campaign calling on all individuals, communities, organizations, and institutions to change ourselves and the systems surrounding us to build racial equity and respect. The goal of Sexual Assault Awareness Month is to raise awareness, and while we have many events planned for this year, our largest event is going to be our Field of Hope, which is going to be held on April 4th, where we intend to gather 565 people in the field in front of our Sexual Assault Response Team Center to form a visual representation of the number of sexually assaulted men, women, and children served by Palm Beach County Victim Services over the past year. We also want to take this time to recognize and express our gratitude and appreciation to Wellington Regional Medical Center in their generous support of the Butterfly House. The Butterfly House was established in 2012 and is our dedicated forensic exam site for victims of sexual assault here in Palm Beach County. I'd like to acknowledge Pam Tahan, CEO of Wellington Regional Medical Center, and invite her to say a few words.
Well, thank you. Those of us in the healthcare field, this is an honor and a privilege that every day we get to take care of the public and each of you. It's obviously an unfortunate situation, but many people in this room have probably been through sexual assault themselves. So the awareness is very important. I want to thank Jose, who is our director of our emergency department, and Dorit, who is one of our board members. I want to thank you guys for being with me here today, and of course, for all the hard work that you do for the county. Thank you.
Thank you.
While they take pictures, can I have Councilwoman Selena Samios come up, please? So Women's History Month is so important that more than one of us thought we needed to honor it. So whereas women from diverse backgrounds and walks of life have played a crucial role in the growth and strength of Palm Beach County, the state of Florida, our nation, and global community, that have been critical to the growth and development of our economy, artistic and cultural achievements, social advancements, and the labor force working inside and outside of the home. Whereas 2023 marks the 175th anniversary of women's rights movement, which served as a driving force behind securing many women's rights, such as the right to vote, the right to hold public office, and improved employment rights and representation. Whereas every year since 1987, March has been designated Women's History Month in the United States, with the President proclaiming the month of March as National Women's History Month. And now, therefore, it is proclaimed by the Board of County Commissioners of Palm Beach County, Florida, assembled in regular session on this 14th day of March 2023, that March 2023 in Palm Beach County is hereby declared, for the second time, Women's History Month.
Thank you very much, Commissioner. Thank you very much, Mayor, Vice Mayor, and Commission. I'd like to thank you again for always offering this with us for every year and the importance of it. I do have a past board member, Heather Gray, with me, as well as the CEO, Shay Spencer, with YWCA, so I'd like to invite them up real quick. Thank you.
Thank you. My name is Heather Gray. I am the chairwoman of the 2023 Women's Chamber of Commerce of Palm Beach County Giraffe Awards, where tomorrow we are celebrating 28 phenomenal women in Palm Beach County who stick their necks out for others. Women's Chamber of Commerce of Palm Beach County is the leading women's organization in the county that supports the economic success of women. And on this Equal Pay Day, I would like to thank the Commission for this proclamation. Thank you.
Good morning, Board of County Commissioners and everyone else. I have a few words and thoughts that I'd like to share with you, but I'd like to preface them with, don't shoot the messenger. Remember the ladies and be more generous to them than your ancestors. Do not put such unlimited power in the hands of the husbands. Remember, all men would be tyrants if they could. Remember, I said don't shoot the messenger. If particular care and attention is not paid to the ladies, we are determined to rebel and will not hold ourselves bound by any laws in which we have no voice or representation. 247 years ago, in 1776, Abigail Adams wrote this message to her husband, John Adams, founding father and second president of the United States, 247 years ago. And I must say that we've come a very long way. That's evident in our community. It's evident in business and industry. And most pressing this morning, evident in the makeup of our Board of County Commissioners. So proud to see this. I think it's the first time I've seen so many women on the commission. A successful woman is a woman who is able to build a firm foundation with the bricks others have thrown at her. There is no force more powerful than a woman determined to rise. Hillary Clinton said this: women are the largest untapped reservoir of talent in the world. To tell a woman everything she cannot do is to tell her exactly what she can do. Well-behaved women rarely make history. So ladies, it's time to act up. Coco Chanel said, a girl should be two things, who and what she wants. Margaret Thatcher, remember I said don't shoot the messenger. If you want something said, ask a man. But if you want something done, ask a woman. We know a strong woman stands up for herself, but a stronger woman stands up for everyone else. Rhonda Handsome said, a man's gotta do what a man's gotta do, but a woman's gotta do what he can't. Don't shoot the messenger. In 2011, the then sitting president, US President Barack Obama said this: history shows that when women and girls have access to opportunity, societies are more just, economies are more likely to prosper, and governments are more likely to serve the needs of their people. Despite gender inequities across all facets, women continue to forge forward and shatter glass ceilings. YWCA has been shattering glass ceilings for centuries. And although we empower women on a year-round basis, on March 8th, we celebrated International Women's Day. And this month, we're so proud and so honored to celebrate Women's History Month. And we pay homage to those whose toils and whose contributions make it possible for us today to bear children, for us to choose not to bear children, for us to serve as executive directors and CEOs, engineers, entrepreneurs, lawyers, and scientists, and even Vice President of the United States and even Supreme Court Justice. Ladies, over centuries, we've learned several things. One, empowered women empower women. And two, we are phenomenal individually, but together we are unstoppable. Thank you all so much. And thank you so much, Selena and Heather, for sharing this moment with me.
Okay. Representatives from the Lord's Place, I have Val Stanley and Jennifer Sellers. Could please come forward? And any others? Hi. Are you by yourself? Okay. Welcome. Okay, so I'm happy to declare January 26th through 27th, 2023 as 24-hour Homeless Point-in-Time Contact Day. Whereas the state of Florida ranks 3rd in the nation for the highest homeless population, with New York and California ranking as 1st and 2nd. And whereas, according to the Department of Housing and Urban Development, homelessness is defined as people who lack a fixed, regular, and adequate nighttime residence. Individuals or families who will imminently lose their primary nighttime residence. Families with children or youth who are inconsistently housed, or people fleeing or attempting to flee domestic violence or life-threatening situations related to violence. Whereas each year, the Palm Beach County Homeless and Housing Alliance conducts the Homeless Point-in-Time Count to determine the number of sheltered and unsheltered people experiencing homelessness on a single night in January in Palm Beach County. And whereas the Palm Beach County 2022 Homeless Point-in-Time Contact identified 1,404 individuals and families experiencing homeless. And whereas the Homeless Point-in-Time Contact data helps local communities identify and plan services and programs to appropriately address local needs, measure progress in decreasing homelessness, and identify strengths and gaps in the community's current homelessness assistance system. And whereas the Palm Beach County Homeless and Housing Alliance has developed Leading the Way Home, a comprehensive plan designed as the next phase of ending the cycle of homelessness in Palm Beach County. Now, therefore, be it proclaimed by the Board of County Commissioners of Palm Beach County, Florida, assembled in regular session today, that January 26th through 27th, 2023 in Palm Beach County was declared 24-hour Homeless Point-in-Time Count Day.
Thank you so much. Hi, my name is Val Stanley, and I am the Director of Women's Services for the Lord's Place. The Lord's Place now celebrates over 40 years of serving Palm Beach County and helping end the cycle of homelessness. On behalf of Diana Stanley, no relation, our CEO, our Board of Directors, our clients, and our staff, I would like to thank Mayor Weiss, Commissioner Woodward, and all of the county commissioners for their support of our mission to end the cycle of homelessness within our backyards. Their support for this proclamation shows the importance of ending this horrible, horrible situation that many of our neighbors, friends, and family members go through each and every night. This year, we will also be hosting our Sleep Out event, which is the Great Equalizer. It's an event in which we bring to light that how many people are sleeping under the stars without having the choice to do so. On Friday, March 31st at 5:30 p.m. at Roger Dean Stadium in Jupiter, we are hosting a family-friendly free event that all are invited to attend to continue our support of all the things that we do and the resources that we afford in giving those individuals who are experiencing homelessness a hand up. So on behalf of the Lord's Place, we thank you for your continued support. Thank you very much.
I'd like to call up Keith Wedgeworth, Colin Friedrich, Eva Webb, and Dr. Samaria Dura. And Ron Rice. It is my honor to present this proclamation today. It is for National Agriculture Week and to honor farmers that are in my district. District 6 has more produce. So whereas agriculture is a vital industry that plays a crucial role in providing food, fuel, fiber to communities throughout the world, and whereas farmers, ranchers, and agricultural workers work tirelessly to produce crops and livestock, care for the land, and maintain the rural way of life, whereas Palm Beach County leads the nation in the production of sugarcane, sweet corn, sweet bell peppers. It leads the state in the production of rice, lettuce, radishes, Chinese vegetables, specialty leaf, and celery. And whereas the agricultural industry has faced significant challenges over the years, including natural disasters, market fluctuations, and changing consumer demands, and has demonstrated resilience and adaptability in the face of these challenges. And whereas National Agriculture Appreciation Day provides an opportunity to recognize the hard work and dedication of those involved in agriculture and to celebrate the contributions of the industry to our economy and our way of life. Now therefore, be it proclaimed by the Board of County Commissioners of Palm Beach County, Florida, assembled in regular session this 14th day of March, 2023, that March 21 through 27, 2023, in Palm Beach County is hereby proclaimed National Agriculture Week.
Commissioner Sarah Baxter and the rest of the commission, thank you very much for this proclamation. My name is Keith Wedgeworth, and I am the president of Western Palm Beach County Farm Bureau. It is a great honor to receive this proclamation, to know that y'all stand behind us in agriculture. We work very hard in the Western community to provide food for everyone here in the United States. So it's a great honor. And so it's great to know that we have y'all support. I would be remiss if I didn't mention that we have the Sweet Corn Fiesta coming up April 30th. Last year, the winner of the Sweet Corn Eating Contest ate 54 ears in 12 minutes. So if anyone's up for it, I know Todd has been working hard. I think he's getting into the professional eating contest this year. So if anyone else would like to join us, please come out to see us at the South Florida Fair on April 30th. But thank you very much.
Good morning. Thank you, Mayor and Commissioners, for this great proclamation. My name is Colin Friedrich, and I have the honor to serve as Palm Beach County's Farm Bureau President and represent about 200 hardworking farmers that produce every day tasty fruits and vegetables and beautiful landscapes that we all enjoy. On behalf of Florida Farm Bureau, 1,600 members, we appreciate your continual support of keeping Palm Beach County fed and beautiful. Thank you.
Yes, good morning. Good morning. My name is Dr. Samira Daroub. I'm with the University of Florida IFAS Everglades Research and Education Center. I'm here to support Palm Beach County agriculture. We work closely with farmers and producers in the area for the latest research and extension for sustainable agriculture production and protecting environmental quality. Great to be here.
Very briefly, Ron Rice, Director of the Cooperative Extension Department. Honored to be here. I've worked with our growers since 1993 when I moved down here from Gainesville, and I've never left Palm Beach County or agriculture. It's dear to my heart. I've met some amazing people that have really mentored me and taught me a lot. One thing I did learn is I could not be a farmer. It is so difficult, it is so risky, it is so disappointing at times, but when the successes come around, we all enjoy those successes. That's the backbone of America, so support your farming community. Thank you.
Okay, moving right along. This next proclamation goes to the folks who you hope you will never need, but if you do, you hope these are the folks who are there to help you. If I could call up Lieutenant Daniel McAndrews, Lieutenant Yvonne Garcia, Lieutenant Michael Redman, firefighter paramedic Nick Bird, Glenn Jordan, retired Trauma Hawk nurse. If I could have those folks up. And why don't y'all come on up, just in case I lose my breath or something. I could have y'all come on up. You never know. Feel a lot safer with you here. I'm about to declare March 14th, 2023 as Palm Beach County Fire Rescue Advanced Life Support Team Day. The Palm Beach County Fire Rescue Advanced Life Support competition team was started in 2018 and competes against other ALS teams throughout the state of Florida. Now, this is the most important part. Our Palm Beach County team won the Florida ALS Cup by finishing first at the Palm Beach State Panther EMS Challenge, first care, and the Boca Raton Bernie Tilson Memorial EMS Challenge. Congratulations, ladies and gentlemen, firefighters, thank you. Whereas the team, consisting of team captain, Lieutenant Daniel McAndrews, Lieutenant Yvonne Garcia, Lieutenant Michael Redmond, firefighter paramedic Nick Bird, and team trainer coach Glenn Jordan, and retired Trauma Hawk RN, created a winning culture amongst their peers while delivering exceptional service to the citizens of Palm Beach County. Now therefore be it proclaimed by the Board of County Commissioners of Palm Beach County, Florida, assembled in regular session this 14th day of March 2023, that this day, March 14th, 2023, in Palm Beach County is hereby proclaimed Palm Beach County Fire Rescue Advanced Life Support Team. Thank you so much for saving lives, and thank you so much for being such winners. Amongst all the other teams in Florida, you are number one, and we appreciate all that you do for the people of Palm Beach County. Thank you so much.
Good morning, Mayor, Vice Mayor, Commissioners, Administrator Baker. Today is an honor, as is every day that Palm Beach County Fire Rescue gets to do the work to save and serve our community. This board, this great organization. I have Chief Coyle with us, which is our Med Services Chief, and all this great organization. I have Chief Coyle with us, which is our Med Services Chief, and all the excellence that you see in medical services really comes under his leadership. Through the men and women that you see here as a reflection, and he's going to speak a little bit about that as well.
Yes, good morning, everyone. Thank you so much for having us today and presenting us with this proclamation. The team members have been introduced several times. That was actually my job, but we've said their names several times. So it does give me an opportunity to thank their families, though, because they take lots of time away from their families to practice. And when we think of competition, we think of, I'm a Dolphins fan, you think of losing. But when you think of, just true, but when you think of competition, know that their competition is not necessarily to win the prestigious award that they're getting ready to receive. Think about their preparation and how it relates to the citizens and making sure that we're able to care for our community because they are the best and we are the best because of them. So thank you so much. I do want to introduce Battalion Chief Greg Logue from Metro-Dade Fire Rescue to present this prestigious Florida Cup.
Drop it. Okay. I just wanted to, my name is Greg Logue. I'm a battalion chief at Miami-Dade Fire Rescue for the last 25 years. I also serve on the Florida Cup with Glenn Jordan. I just want to give you an idea of just how hard it is to win this award. In 2012, I created the Florida Cup based on the idea that any ALS competition, you can win or you can place from second place to last place and still be one of the best paramedics in the world. Anyone can have a bad day, anyone can make a strategic or tactical error that will cause them the entire competition, but the best EMTs and paramedics are the most consistent performers. And the Florida Cup recognizes the team who is always at or near the top of the standings. The firefighters and paramedics who decide to represent their departments in ALS competition are a rare breed. These competitors have chosen to refuse anything. They've chosen to refuse to accept anything less than the highest performance standards for themselves, because if they do, they lose. These competitors are not only motivated, they are driven. They don't do weekends or holidays. They don't take days off. They don't go on vacation until they've accomplished their goal. They learn to persevere in failure, and they never, ever quit. To be competitive, they study and practice together for hundreds of hours, and we were talking earlier, it takes about 10 years to get here to this level. They practice skills until they can do them faster and more accurately than anyone else. They memorize things that most EMTs and paramedics have never even heard of, and practice critical thinking and decision-making until it becomes automatic. The result of all this hard work is an extremely competent employee, a firefighter, a paramedic, an officer, who can be trusted to give the best possible care to real-world patients in their community. These are our future leaders, and we do this because no one's life was ever saved by an excuse. So this year, I'm proud to present the Florida Cup to Palm Beach County Fire Rescue, sorry.
If you all would be so kind as to join us up here, I think the rest of the commission would love to have a picture with you all in the cup.
moving on to matters, or moving on to public hearings. We have proof of publication.
So move, make a
You're
motion.
going to move to, we have a motion by Commissioner Bernard, seconded by
Second.
Commissioner Baxter. All in favor, all opposed, be it noted, 7-0, motion to receive and file proof of publication. Okay. We are now on item 5A1. Mr. Von Laren, you are recognized.
Thank you, Mayor, Vice Mayor, Commissioners, Administrator, County Attorney. I'm joined here with Ms. Simba Matumba, Assistant County Attorney, and want to thank the County Attorney's Office, Denise, you and your staff for your work so expeditiously in getting this emergency ordinance together for your consideration before the Board of County Commissioners. Before you today is an ordinance that was brought forward via the leadership of Mayor Weiss and subsequently the Board of County Commissioners to address what has been a growing issue in our community and in communities around the state and also the country, and where we've seen a proliferation of anti-hate speech that has been out there. And what we are doing with this particular ordinance is addressing one component of that. Specifically here in Palm Beach County, we saw some horrific images that depicted anti-hate in one of our buildings in the downtown area. And there was really nothing that we could do about the projection of those images on private property. And so what we're bringing before you today is a ordinance that would prohibit the unauthorized projection of signs onto buildings, structures, or other places without the consent of the owner of those properties. We've put some pretty significant penalties that are available to us in this, anywhere from $500 to $2,000 penalties on the one side, in addition to some statutory civil penalties, which may also see fines increased by special masters up to $1,000, $5,000, or $15,000 per violation, depending on the severity of those individual cases. This is going to apply in both the unincorporated and incorporated areas of Palm Beach County, provided that those municipalities opt in to this. So a number of cities are closely watching this. And in the whereas clauses of this ordinance, we depicted a number of very recent incidences that we've seen, which is why we have facilitated the emergency request of moving this more expeditiously to you for vote today. It does require an extraordinary vote, a 4/5 vote of the Board of County Commissioners, and also have to state those reasons that we've put forward here in the ordinance as to why that emergency exists. Just this past weekend, we saw another incident of anti-hate in our community. And those issues that we saw this weekend will be addressed in some legislation pending in Tallahassee dealing with littering, trespass, and the like. So that is the ordinance that is before you, Mayor, Commissioners, and we're available for any questions you may have.
Thank you very much. Are there any questions at this time? I know we have a few cards, so we'll have our speakers. And
We had one speaker that had to leave, but if you will indulge me, I will read her comments. Joseph Gahn, representing the Jewish Federation of Palm Beach County. Thank you to the mayor and commissioners for this ordinance. Anti-Semitism has been rising in our country, and unfortunately, Palm Beach County has not been immune to this hatred. We have seen incidents of anti-Semitic projections on buildings, and these haters look for ways to spread their vile vitriol. Owners of businesses should not be unwitting partners with such messages, and is therefore appropriate that such an ordinance will limit this. Your willingness to support this ordinance is a strong message to Palm Beach County that anti-Semitism and all hate will not be tolerated. Thank you. And the other speaking card that I have would be Mr. Brian Seymour.
Good morning. For the record, Brian Seymour. For this purpose, I'm the vice president or a vice president or whatever other titles I have with the Jewish Federation of Palm Beach County. Well, first I want to say this. Mayor Weiss, there was not a second that went by before you stood up and said, we don't stand for this. And then very quickly, every one of you said, we don't stand for this. So I want to thank you all for that. I want to thank the county attorney and the county attorney's office, which obviously you don't hear a lot from me. We do like to get into our arguments. They very quickly took a very complicated issue. This is not about anti-Semitism alone. It started with anti-Semitism. Historically, Jews, we are the canary in the coal mine. When they come after us, they start coming after everybody else next. And we are a very, very small percentage of the population, even here in Palm Beach County. And the only way that we can survive is when people come together and say it's not okay. The leadership of this county, all of you have said this is not what we stand for. We are not going to be okay with hate messages being projected onto buildings. I happen to also be a big property rights advocate, so private property owners should have these rights. And I understand this is content neutral. I understand the First Amendment. I'm no expert by any means, but you have tremendous attorneys who've done this. And you've come up with something that says you can't do this. And Mr. Caruso in the House has said we're going to try to do something up there as well to enhance that. But really the main message is thank you. I got 2 kids, as many, in fact, I think all of you know. And they're both bigger than me now, but they're still my kids. And when a swastika gets displayed in our towns, in our county, the only thing we can do is come together and say, no, you've done that. And on behalf of, generally speaking, the Jewish community of Palm Beach County, and certainly me personally, I want to thank you all for that. I don't think there's going to be a problem getting the supermajority vote today. I know you all. You're all good people with good hearts. And I will forever be grateful for your standing with us as a community. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Seymour. I think with that, we have no other cards. I'm going to bring this back. I'm going to pass the gavel over to the Vice Mayor. I'd like to be recognized.
You're recognized, Mayor.
Thank you very much, Vice Mayor. This is both a sad day because of the commentary on our society, that this is where we are in 2023, that people can still hate somebody because of who they are, not because of what they did. And I appreciate our staff, this board, but more importantly, our community who have come together to say there is no hate in Palm Beach County. There's no place for it. I know this isn't going to solve the problem, but this is a tool. But more importantly, this is a message to those people that want to bring their hate to Palm Beach County, that you're not welcome here. As human beings, you're welcome, but your hate is not welcome, and we are never going to tolerate it as a community. So with that, Vice Mayor, I'd like to make a motion to approve item 5A1.
Wait.
Adopting an ordinance for the Board of County Commissioners of Palm Beach County, Florida, adding Chapter 29 to the Palm Beach County Code, prohibiting the unauthorized projections of signs onto buildings, structures, or other places, providing for the severability, providing for inclusion in this code, and providing for an effective date.
Thank you very much.
And Mayor,
We
if
have
I
a
may
second.
just add to that, for the provisions stated in our whereas clauses of bringing this forward to you as an emergency, that those should be incorporated into that motion as well, please.
I will add those whereas clauses denoting the need to invoke this as an emergency into my motion.
And thank you very much, Mayor, for that. Do we have a second by Commissioner Marino? Are there any comments by the commissioners before we go for a vote? Yes, Commissioner Baxter.
I want to kind of mimic a little bit of what Brian had said, and absolutely, I'm a huge fan of not only private property rights, but also freedom of speech. But what I love about this is the fact that it is stopping anyone from projecting a terrible message on somebody else's property, unauthorized. It is, in my opinion, just horrible. If everyone's default was love versus hate, it'd be a better world. You know, maybe I'm a little bit of a dreamer, but that should be, in my personal opinion, the default here. So thank you for doing this.
Thank you, Commissioner Baxter. Any other comments? If I may just thank you, take my personal privilege at this time, Mayor Weiss. Thank you for taking a leadership role in this and for your passionate advocacy in protecting all the people of Palm Beach County from any hate speech. And I will go a step further than you in saying that if anybody has any hate in their heart and they come to Palm Beach County, they better keep moving. Keep moving, not south or north or east or west. Just get out of town, because we will not have any further hate speech for anyone in this county. Thank you, Todd Von Laren, for putting this together and all those on your team. But you, Mayor Weiss, we really owe a debt of gratitude, and thank you, sir. Now we're going to proceed to the vote, if we could. All those in favor, say aye. Anybody opposed? Let it be noted that this is passed by unanimous vote of the Board of County Commissioners. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. All right, moving on, we are on item 5B1, Financial Management and Budget. Does anyone need a presentation?
Mr. Mayor, I'd make a motion to approve item 5B1A and B.
We have a motion by Commissioner Bernard, a second by Commissioner Marino. Any further discussion? All in favor, all opposed, that motion carries 7-0. Moving on to item 6A1 on our regular agenda. Okay. All right. Does any commissioner need a presentation on this item?
I do.
Okay. Commissioner Bernard.
Shall I proceed?
Yes, please.
Yes. Good morning, Mayor, Vice Mayor, and Commissioners. It's Samia Jala, Director of Facilities Development and Operations. With me here today is Burby Bogaida, Director of FDO's Property, Real Estate and Management Division, and Chief Deputy County Attorney Howard Falcon. This item recommends receiving and filing of a license agreement with Transit Village LLC dated December 21, 2022, for the use of county-owned property, commonly known as the North County Block, for a period of 90 days terminating on March 20th, 2023, and approval of an extension of the term of the license agreement with Transit Village from March 21st, 2023, until the premises are conveyed to the University of Florida or earlier termination in accordance with the terms of the license agreement. On August 14, 2012, the county entered into an agreement for the purchase and sale of the Wedge property with Transit Village. That parcel of land is at the southeast corner of Banyan Boulevard and Clearwater Drive, which is the current site of the county's intermodal transit center. Pursuant to the PSA, TV Transit Village is to construct a mixed-use development, including a parking garage on the ITC property. The PSA further states that if requested by Transit Village and provided the same is available for use, the county shall provide Transit Village a license agreement at no cost to use the North County Block for temporary use during construction. On August 23, 2022, the county entered into a development and conveyance agreement with the University of Florida for the North County Block for the development and construction of the urban campus. At the time of approval of the development and conveyance agreement, the Board of County Commissioners directed county staff to work with Transit Village and the University of Florida towards facilitating a license agreement for temporary use of the North County Block as temporary parking for Tri-Rail patrons and Palm Tran employees. Because the North County Block is the subject of the development and conveyance agreement with the University of Florida, the university's consent to the license agreement was required and obtained. The license agreement is for a term of 90 days and was executed by the Director of Facilities Development and Operations in accordance with authority delegated understanding PPMs. The license expires on March 20, 2023, and staff is seeking approval of an extension of the license agreement until such time as the North County block is conveyed to University of Florida pursuant to the development and conveyance agreement or earlier termination in accordance with the terms of the license agreement. That concludes staff's presentation. We will take any questions as you deem it appropriate.
Thank you very much. Are there any questions to staff at this time? Not seeing any. We have some public comment.
Thank you. And I also met with the folks from Transit Village, and I think the rest of the board has had the opportunity, or if you haven't, you may hear from them right now. I'm going to take a point of personal privilege and say that, we do have something on the table today, the First Amendment to the license agreement. The question I have for staff is, what do we have to do to close this? And because this is with Transit Village, I've suggested they come and take their time to talk. We have 4 cards here: Steve Abrams, Michael Masinoff, Andrew Chesnick, and Barrett Singer. So if you would be so kind as to be brief, but
What did Commissioner Coons always say? Be brief and be brilliant. So hopefully I'll do at least one of those. Mayor, Vice Mayor, Commissioners, Stephen Abrams, LSN Partners, glad to see all of you here for Transit Village. And yes, this license agreement is important. It's not controversial in the scheme of things, but it is an integral step toward beginning this transit-oriented development. You can't build a $1 million temporary parking facility without an assurance that closing will be timely. And we all know the benefits. I believe in this project. I had this project when I sat on the dais as, I think, my first meeting. And we all know it's going to enhance transit, particularly Tri-Rail. And yes, I did take Tri-Rail to the meeting today. People always ask me that. Palm-Tran, Greyhound, Amtrak, the West Palm Trolley System, a mixed-use project that includes workforce housing, turns a brownfield into a greenfield at developer expense. And of course, the jobs, the expansion of the economic base that comes with it, hundreds of millions of dollars in just the first year alone. And then the proposal to relocate the Palm-Tran, which will be done by the developer, saves the county hundreds of thousands of dollars every year and makes it more convenient for your Palm-Tran riders and provides even more connectivity. So any delay in this project is a delay in all of these public benefits that are needed now more than ever with people coming to our county. There are several impediments that we've been working with staff to overcome. One that's gotten a lot of attention that I'll address briefly is the FTA appraisal issue. Just give you an overview and then we can get into it in whatever level of detail you wish. But the staff has been pointing to a 2013 letter from the Federal Transit Administration that apparently requires an updated appraisal. There's been subsequent emails and correspondence between the county and FTA, and we have a binder that contains that for you to look at. In 2014, the county requested FTA, with Transit Village's support, to establish the value for the FTA purposes to avoid the county having to do continuing appraisals. And then in 2015, the FTA wrote to the county to establish that value. And that letter has not been rescinded or modified in any way. If it has, it was addressed to the county, so you would know, and I've not heard that it has at all. And in fact, Mayor, you asked that we touch base with the FTA, and so last Friday afternoon, I did call and spoke with the regional deputy administrator who is overseeing this project out of their Atlanta office. And they're going to check their files, but there's no reason to believe that the letter has been rescinded or modified in any way. But the more important point that's been raised is that the county, and you can certainly understand this, would not want to have to return the grant funding that the FTA gave for the project. And I could tell you from my personal direct experience with FTA as the executive director of South Florida Regional Transportation Authority and working with them, that their policy is typically to roll over that amount to another Palm Beach County transit asset. The only, traditionally, the only way that they require the money to be returned is if the county were to sell the property for a non-transit use. And as we know, it's enhancing the transit. So, you know, they're the Federal Transit Administration, and they are all for transit, and that's why they like to see their money used to promote transit. And by the way, they also have a policy to promote transit-oriented developments. And of course, this is as TOD as it gets. So that's why presumably the staff could issue Transit Village an estoppel letter and then also agree to amendment number 1 to the PSA, which the board several years ago approved, confirming that Transit Village had obtained all of its government approvals, local, state, and federal. This just, to me, is not an issue at all, let alone one to hold up closing. If there would be some kind of an issue, it would be between the county and the FTA, and would not be a condition of the contract with TV to provide. So I'm going to turn over to Related Group, Andrew Chesnick from Related Group, who can speak further on this project that we're very excited about. And we'll be available, of course, to answer questions.
Good morning, Vice Mayor, Mayor, Commissioners. Thank you for your time. Andrew Chesnick with the Related Group from Miami. We're very happy to be here and pleased to be part of the Transit Village project. First and always, we understand our requirements under the PSA, and we will not affect Palm Tram's operation during our improvements to the project. More to the point, it's going to be relocated to the other side of the tracks and then returned in an improved and enhanced function. Right now, we want to start our development activities immediately. We want to close. We want to get going. We are weeks away from getting our building permit. We are weeks away from getting the property replatted. We just want to start developing. Related has been in business 43 years, developing these and similar types of projects throughout the country. We know how to construct. We know how to build. We are putting up the financial assurances that will be required to support the project. So please let us deliver all these public benefits to this community and let us close and proceed. Thank you. I'll introduce Michael Masinoff.
Commissioner Bernard, you're recognized.
I'll wait to hear from Mr. Mazanoff.
Oh, can you do it? No? No. Oh. We had a little video, but apparently we have a technology problem. Sorry about that. I want to thank you, commissioners. It's been a long time I've been up here. I can't count how many times I've been before you. And I'm here to answer any questions that you may have, and if specifically or generally. But I think that we're ready to go. As Andrew Chesnick said, we are not only going to not affect Palm Tram operations at all, we're actually going to enhance Palm Tram operations, which is the most important thing when we started this project to move forward. It's a TOD. We have dealt with FTA. We have FTA approval. Not only do we have FTA approval, when this property was acquired for $3.6 million, the county put up $180,750. The city put up $180,750 plus property. FDOT put up $359,500 plus property, and the FTA put up to $2,880,000. And that risk was known at the time that the county may have to repay those funds. Yet, we were able to get the city to waive it, their request for their property back, or their request to receive those funds back. And that request came in 2012. We also were able to get FDOT to waive their request for their funds back or their property back, and that request was confirmed in 2012. And on March 19, 2013, was my parents' anniversary. And on March 19th, 2013, the FDA confirmed they concurred with our performance under the contract. The dollars could have all been asked back, and we went to work so that wouldn't occur. At the time that we did that, the property had a negative value based upon all of the conditions that the county had required. We overcome the negativities of those values. But on the March 19th letter, it had no value associated in that letter, and it required an appraisal every 6 months, as required by the circular that was required, which was 5010-1D. That's an important consideration because the pushback that we're getting from county staff refers to 5010-1E. 1E doesn't apply to grants prior to 2014 or 2016. Obviously, this grant is long before 2012. So they're talking about something that doesn't apply. Well, we went to work with Ross Herring, and we got a confirmation letter dated January 16, 2015, that put the value for the rollover on transit purpose assets at $1,885,000. And that letter doesn't require an additional appraisal. And that's conditioned upon the applicable circular, which says if you provide adequate justification. So I won't kill you with detail. But on September 4th, 2014, Ross Herring wrote a letter to the FTA to establish the fair market value as of July 30th, 2013, and would prefer to avoid the expense of obtaining additional appraisals. When he followed through on that, he followed through with a cover letter establishing the value, and when the letter comes back on January 16th, 2015, that letter established value, January 16, 2015, that letter established the value, $1,885,000 for the county to roll over, use the excess funds for transit assets, and miraculously, the FTA held the value from July of 2013, 19 months later, based upon their letter. So they're not even following the 6-month rule. You know, the 6-month rule, adequate justification was provided, and the FTA signed off on that letter. And that's the last communication with the FTA. Transit Village is the lead on the FTA. It hasn't been amended, it hasn't been modified, it hasn't been revoked. And I'm here to answer any questions if you'd like. And I want to thank you for your time.
Commissioner Bernard, you recognize.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I know at our last meeting, I had asked for staff to work with Transit Village, so I'd love, Andrew, if you can come up and kind of like give me what's been the working relationship since our last meeting, from the directions that the board made and where we're at.
Well, Commissioner Bernard, I would like to say that we've made progress, but I unfortunately don't believe that that's would be an accurate statement. It took us roughly 6 months to get to the license agreement that we're dealing with today. And that's a long period of time. In development, that costs a lot of time and money. And we're not in a letter writing campaign, and nor do we want to. We just want to start the project and build. And we want to find the most direct, efficient way to get going and provide these benefits to the community and to Palm Beach and to the city. So we hope that that can be accomplished today, and staff can understand that, you know, in our 43 years, we have the capacity, the capabilities, and the resources to build this project, and we've done in the past. And we look forward to accomplishing that goal very quickly.
Thank you. Follow-up, Mr. Mayor. Sure. In regards to Tri-Rail, what's the, because we know Tri-Rail is so important to us and to residents of Palm Beach County. Will Tri-Rail be protected with moving forward on this transaction?
Well, let me address a couple issues on Tri-Rail. First of all, yes, they will absolutely be protected. Secondly, they worked hand in glove with us through this process and the multiple approvals. Third is we are obviously going to relocate their parking temporarily, and then it will be repositioned in the project. Additionally, they're providing us off-site parking. We're expecting to have over 1,000 workers on this site. So they're providing us a discount, both at parking and in transit on Tri-Rail to off-site park our construction workers north and south locations on Tri-Rail. So not only will we do everything we need to do to protect them and enhance their ridership, which this project will do as a mass intermodal project, and you understand the market-driven activities of that. I think the Dreyfus School is a big benefactor of Tri-Rail and the local commute, which we appreciate. But we're also working with them in all other initiatives to address reducing impacts to the infrastructure that's there already, i.e. parking off-site.
Well, you know, my kids take the Tri-Rail, and that's their stop, so please forgive me that I'm a little biased to
It's okay, we appreciate it.
What about PalmTran in regards to where we're at in regards to the PalmTran relocation of PalmTran, and how would that impact PalmTran?
So we will have, and committed to, and will not impact their operations whatsoever. However, as you know, during the construction of the project, we have an arrangement with the city of West Palm Beach on a site on the Tamarind Strip on the east side, the east side of the site of the railroad tracks, that we have started the site planning process with the city. We actually had our PPRC meeting last Wednesday. It went very well. We're hopeful that we'll have that approval in a couple months, and then we'll start to get to work on that. But as Mr. Abrams said, I'm a developer. I associate risk and assess them all the time. It's very hard for us. That project alone may cost upwards of $3 million. It's very hard for us to move forward with further expense. That's just a hard cost. But we've obviously spent money on design and engineering and legal fees. But it's very hard for us to justify spending a lot more money on that until we have a commitment and time certain closing on the Transit Village property itself.
So just to make sure I understand, so the closing is important to start the relocation process of PalmTran.
It's essential. I believe that it's a critical path item so that we are assured that we're going to secure the property that ultimately is our economic driver, and therefore to do the off-site improvements which are required, and we're standing behind them and we'll continue to really initiate them. We want to know that we've closed on our economic driver. Notwithstanding, you asked me about PalmTran also. Just relocating PalmTran alone, forgetting the cost of it, will save PalmTran significant money. So I want to add that as well. But I hope I answered your question, Commissioner.
Now, I believe Commissioner Abrams had mentioned the approvals. Can you kind of like tell us what are these approvals, and is the closing contingent on these approvals based on the PSA? Just kind of like let me know.
Well, we've gotten over 40 approvals since Mr. Massoff started the project. The last major approval that we received was from the city of West Palm Beach, which is the Downtown Action Committee site plan approval, which is pretty substantial. Right now, we're getting the building permit for the envelope. That and the replat of the property are the two key deliverables that we believe we have to meet under PSA to close. We have some other conditions on the site. As you know, it's a brownfield site. We've obtained the approval from the FDEP for the soil remediation plan, which we can't start until we take possession of the site. Sorry, but the county was the polluter. So we've obviously undertaken that task, and we'll remediate that site in accordance with the FDEP soil management plan.
Let me ask you a question in regards to closing. What does it say in the contract in terms of the closing period?
So we have a 20-day notice period. So once we're ready to close, we provide a 20-day notice. How we interpret that is, once we have our envelope permit and our replat in hand, we would like to notice and close within 20 days.
Let me make sure I understand. On the permit you just mentioned, where is it at in the city? And when do you think that you're probably going to receive the permit from the city of West Palm Beach?
So the building permit, and there's some sub-permits to that, demolition, tree location, that's a whole package. Right now, I believe the last comments that we resubmitted were minor zoning comments. Once they clear, we should have our envelope permit. It could be within a few weeks. The city's been very cooperative with us in moving through that process. The planner in charge of that, Chris Kimley, we have spoken to him, I think it was yesterday. Brian Seymour's office contacted him, and he received our resubmittal. We've worked closely with him, so we don't anticipate any more comments out of his group, but that's the last group to sign off on the envelope permit. As it relates to the replat.
Hold on.
Sorry.
So you're saying in regards to the envelope permit, maybe 2 weeks?
2-3 weeks, yeah.
2 to 3 weeks,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
Okay, hold on. Now, before you mention the replat, explain to me what needs to be replatted and what's the time frame on the replat?
That's a little bit of outside of my box. You're an attorney, so I'm going to defer to Mr. Brian Seymour so he can give you a more articulate answer on that legal matter.
God help me. I'll try to keep my emotions in check this time. I won't talk about my kids. So, Brian Seymour, for the record, I'm working on all of the issues with the city. We have, Andrew and I met with Nancy Urchek, city attorney, and Vince Noel, the chief surveyor. Basically, what you've got is one sort of large parcel, which is the wedge. What we're doing is separating it into 3 different parcels. The parcel you will maintain ownership of, which is referred to as the ITC, I think it's the wedge ITC property in all the documents? The ITC. And then we've got a couple of other pieces that relate to how we're going to build our buildings. So it's a minor replat under the city's regulations. It's been submitted. We got comments back from your staff where we corrected a few things as to who the title agent was and signatures. And we double-checked some of the calls on the survey. So to make sure that the lines were right and everything was there, we double-checked all that. So it should be fairly straightforward. It technically has to be approved by the city commission under statute once we get the staff approval, but it bypasses the planning board, so it would be very quickly done, and the city is committed to get it on a quick agenda.
Just one quick follow-up. Who signs the replat? Is it the city or is it?
So the global you, the mayor, whomever he is designated, signs on behalf of the owner. So there's 2 different pieces to this. There's the regulator who signs saying it meets the statutory requirements, it meets all the requirements of what it is, and then there's the owner who says, yes, I agree, this is the plat. We then, on the conveyance, on the deeds, we will have platted lots to be able to attach. So all the legal descriptions make it much easier because we identify by platted lot. We don't have to identify by the meets and bounds, which are those lengthy descriptions you often see on deeds.
Okay, thank you very much. Mr. Mayor, this started for 6 years in my district, and then it shifted to yours. So I'd like to find a way for us to get this thing going, but this is also in your district, so I don't want to overstep. So I'd love to hear, since you would have to actually sign the replat, because I just believe that we gave staff directions for staff to work with related, and if it's going to take, let's say, 2 to 3 weeks and then 20 days to close, I would like to be able to extend a motion to not only to approve this item 6A, I guess 6A, 1A, and B, but also to add additional conditions. But since you are the commissioner who represents that area, would love to hear from you.
Sure. Thank you. Thank you. First off, I'd like to actually hear from staff. I think it's important since we're delving deeper into this project, so you're recognized.
More than happy to. Let me address first, if I may, the comment that was made about us taking 6 months to complete a license agreement. We were directed to work with University of Florida and Transit Village on August 23rd, 2022. The license agreement was signed, the one that I was able to execute, on December 21st, 2022. That's basically 4 months. And then out of those 4 months, we spent about a month waiting for University of Florida's concurrence. We couldn't bring and finalize the license agreement without having their concurrence, because we're talking about exactly the same piece of property. We put together a summary that we thought might help understand the complexity of this deal. If I may ask from my colleague, can you bring it to slide 1 at the beginning? 1. I'm gonna highlight a few things. This was not a formal presentation, just some initial thoughts that we put together in the event that questions were asked as to where we are. I think we all know the overview of the project and the property that it entails, so I'm gonna skip over that. The purchase and sale agreement, the PSL, has a very lengthy list of documents and conditions preceding that must be met prior to closing. I'm not gonna go through them one by one, but let's suffice for the time being, unless the board feels differently, to state that there are quite a few steps that must be met, and some of those steps have sub-steps, right? And this is a complex agreement. The different steps come together to provide a whole picture. So with that in mind, we have a number of conditions preceding that have been met, and have been met by Transit Village and have been met by staff collaborating with Transit Village and reviewing the documents that Transit Village have provided. We have another number of conditions preceding that have not been met, and I'm gonna give you an overview of the key ones and what our staff concerns as of today. Okay, so the first one is the continuity of operations plan. That's the document that will basically establish the relationship between Transit Village Palm Trend, who is the one operating at the site, and how the movement from current location to temporary location back to the current ITC will occur. That's a document that was first submitted in November 22. We issued comments on same month, in November 2022. A revised document was received in January. We issued comments within, approved, allowed, under the PSA. We received then yet another revision in February addressing our comments. We had additional comments issued. And then we have some standing concerns. The first one is one that you're gonna see throughout and goes back to my comment as to this being a complex deal and the different pieces coming together. We cannot finalize comments across the board unless all documents are in a form that allows for cross-comparison and coordination. For example, and I will address this later on, the easements reference the drawings, right? So if we need to define what is covered by the easement, we need to have final and clear drawings that tie back to that easement. We are, under the COOP, very aware that we need to have clear language in place that allows and dictates how restoration, once Transit Village is done with the work, will take place, and to what conditions will Palm Trend come back when it's time to operate. The next one that we have pending is the personality plan. That's basically an inventory of the current assets in place and what will happen once closing moves forward. We have, again, not finalized that plan. We believe there are some components that are still pending on that plan, and we also have found inconsistencies with the demolition plan and the site plan that was submitted, and we have communicated this back to Transit Village. The next one we have pending is the commercial and envelope construction plan, first submitted in January of this year. We proceeded to our review as necessary. Again, we have our general comment about all documents coming together. We have concerns as to the remediation that is pending under the FDP approval letter, because the representation, the remediation plan was that we will be fully removed from site, but the temporary location has not been completed, and it is on our understanding, based on the construction drawings, that it is the intention to commence construction on the north parcel as soon as the temporary parking at the north block is completed. So that will still have ITC operations on site. We do have additional details that are needed to understand the improvements that will be required within the ITC area. Easements is a critical item that remains, and I do have to my left Howard, as from the county attorney's office. I will defer to him to an extent, but I will highlight the following. Under the purchase and sale agreement, we are required, the county is required, to provide Transit Village easements so that they can operate their project based on the property that is going to be conveyed. In January of this year, they provided us a draft of that easement, which I can only compare to basically a blanket grant of rights. And county staff had multiple comments to that initial draft. One of them was that our suggestion, our recommendation will be to split that easement into 3 different ones. Temporary construction, which will end at the end of the construction phase, then an easement for utilities and an easement for the supporting structures. We were very clear in conveying our comments back that we couldn't recommend a blanket granting of rights. You know, we had certainly a concern of what will occur and what will be the ability for Palm Trend to operate and the county to maintain its operations if we didn't have defined rights being conveyed, if it was just a blanket easement. I will further add that as of today, the legal description that ties to those easements has not been defined. So how to recommend a staff an easement to be granted when the subject matter is not fully defined is certainly a challenge from our position. And I don't know if you have anything to add there.
She described it very thoroughly. Blanket is a concern. They have backed down from that, but we've been requesting the locations. We don't know those yet. It's difficult to analyze whether what they're seeking is reasonable without those locations. We think we can reach agreement, but again, we need more information in order to do it.
To that point, another document that we have pending is the envelope permit drawings. We had been working with Transit Village. The latest revision that was submitted after we issued comments and pointed out that we were missing some drawings within the packet included the civil drawings, and that has brought to our attention some areas that are of concern. Number one, there is going to be a significant level of demolition or reconstruction that we believe exceeds what is captured under the current agreement. And we have stated in our communication back to Transit Village, we're not objecting the level that you are asking for, but if you're going to proceed to that level, we do need to know what reconstruction is going to look like. And we have stated that those conditions of reconstruction and everything else must be captured in an agreement to be brought back to this board. The board needs to understand, we will argue, what will be the final condition that Palm Trend will return to, because we do believe that the level of demolition or reconstruction that is captured by the drawings right now extends or exceeds, I should say, what is covered under the PSA agreement. Exhibit D is another pending issue we have opened. Just to give you a little bit of context, when this agreement was approved back in 2012, The same was premised on, or includes, significant and thorough, I will argue, analysis of traffic implications once the project is completed. And the board then went through several iterations with staff and with the developer, trying to make sure that once the project was built, meaning the one that is to be developed, operations of Palm Trend will not be negatively affected. And as part of that agreement, an exhibit, which is called Exhibit D, the circulation plan, was included to provide for significant, or I shouldn't say significant, to provide for about $1 million then worth of improvements to the surrounding area to ensure that traffic will not be an issue. Under the contract, Transit Village is required to provide permits for all improvements, that one included. They came back to us and said, we're not gonna be able to permit this area because if we do, the permit will expire. Waive that requirement. County staff responded and said, in a nutshell, we're not willing to recommend a waiver because this contract was premised on making sure before conveyance of the property that Palm Trend operations will not be affected and traffic will not be an issue. If you're unable to permit those improvements, then we don't know if the same are viable. And if they're not viable, then when time comes for us to return to the site, we may have operational challenges. So that's an area where we have not received a response back from the developer as to our position. We believe, and I believe, I'm gonna say this personally, that they do not agree with our position, but it's certainly an area of concern for county staff. I should mention, which I believe to be important, the property that we're gonna be temporarily relocating to. It's a property that is owned by the city and is leased by the developers, not a county-owned property. So county staff has consistently raised, I will argue, a cautionary note saying if we're gonna move, even temporarily, we need to make sure we're able to come back to our county-owned facility. We don't want to be in a position where we are dependent on a lease through a third party, and then the conditions that were supposed to be met on the other side are not met, meaning to the west of the rails, and then we are at a loss, right? We are at a position that is not as beneficial as we thought was going to be at the time we move into the temporary location. Therefore, that's why it's so important to make sure that permits are on hand for all improvements required under the contract. You may hear, and I know because our colleagues have stated this point, they have stated, well, there's a provision in the contract that says that the improvements will be delivered at the time set for in Exhibit D. And the time set for in Exhibit D as in David, basically establishes a sequence that says, by the time you receive the first certificate of occupancy, you must have this number of off-site improvements done. Then by the second one, you must comply with this other component. And we do agree that that language is included as part of the agreement. However, our position as county staff has been that qualifier of at the time set for in Exhibit D speaks as to delivery of the improvements. The entire agreement speaks as to permitting of the improvements, which I should also note is not in the county's control. So the permitting authority here is the city of West Palm Beach. I think staff has been very conscious about the fact that there is always a possibility that the city may say, we're not in agreement with those improvements, we're not in agreement with what was required under the PSA, and at that point, lacking a permitted improvement before we convey, then we're basically open to that exposure, right? And what will happen if those agreements under the PSA are not met? Then lastly, I would like to touch on the FTA issue, and I will summarize it as I think this can be easily solved as long as we're able to effectively communicate, which I will argue we have in good faith been trying to do. The county is the grantee under FTA, not the developer. In 2013, and I copied the letters, obviously they cannot be read at this font size, but I did call out basically and highlighted some areas, right? And the letters are available, are part of the public record. In 2013, FTA did issue a letter that said, the FTA concurs with the county's request, and then instructed the county to update the appraisals 6 months prior disposition, and at the time disposition was expected to take 2 or 3 years, right? So I highlighted those for your information. In 2015, after communication back and forth between county staff and the developer and so on and so forth, FTA issued a second letter, concur with the updated appraised value. We're once again talking 8 years ago. Indicated the county previously requested FTA's concurrence to sell property at the West Palm Beach ITC. I'm skipping through, obviously. The sale was not to occur until 2 or 3 years later. FTA concurred with the sale of the property, advising the county that the appraisal should be updated within 6 months of the same. The FTA understand that the county is now ready to proceed. So that letter is on the record, was approved, granted, so on and so forth. At TV's request late last year, they asked for county staff position as to the FTA appraisals. And that request came from comments made by county staff during bi-weekly meetings that we had scheduled and have had scheduled for many, many months now in order to keep this project going, making sure that we will meet every 2 weeks and discuss any open items. During one of those meetings, we said that we believe we needed to update the appraisals. Transit Village and its representatives indicated that they didn't agree with our position. And then eventually they requested we put our position in writing. And we did. And we included all the supporting documentation that was necessary. To that letter that we issued on February 2nd, 2023, Transit Village responded, saying, we do appreciate you saying several things. It's a 4-page letter. I'm just highlighting a few things. Indicating that they do appreciate we recognize that they're the lead with FTA, which they are under the development, under the purchase and sale agreement, but that they believe at the time that the matter with with FTA was resolved, and therefore they didn't want to be involved. So we took that position and then said on February 10, we stand by our prior position. If you don't want to be involved, that's fine. We will proceed forward. We will establish contract and then keep contact with the agency and then keep you up to speed as to the evolution. We want to be able to move this forward. That letter was answered with another letter from the developer on February 13, saying that they invoke the right to be the lead contact party in the process. And as a result of that, then county staff cannot directly reach out to FTA. We need to coordinate with the developer. So on February 21st, 2023, we had the developer provide us a proposed agenda for our bi-weekly meetings, right? That didn't include FTA. County staff responded back and said, we would like to add coordination with FTA and what's going to be the path forward. During the meeting that was held on the 22nd, the agenda came on the 21st. It always comes basically 1 or 2 days before the meeting date. Agenda came in on the 21st, didn't include FTA. We said, can we go ahead and include it? Meeting takes place, the conference call on the 22nd. On the 22nd, we agreed to have a meeting just to discuss FTA-related issues and figure a path forward. That meeting was scheduled, and we received for a few days after. And we received an email on the 27th saying, we will need to reschedule this call. Appreciate your cooperation. We know from conversations afterwards that there were some emergency situations that we fully understand. Life certainly happens. Our response was, noted, we'll cancel, and we'll await your outreach to reschedule. Nothing occurred. And then on March 1st, we get, once again, our agenda for the bi-weekly meeting. My apologies, I skipped one. On March 1st, we actually got an email from FTA. They were inquiring if to Mr. Steve Abrams was working for the county. To that, we responded that no, that he was not our consultant. And then on preparation for the bi-weekly meeting that we were going to have on March 8th, we got our proposed agenda as usual from the developer. Didn't include FTA next steps. And we responded back we would like to request to add a subtopic, coordinations meetings with TB, PB, county, internally first, so to speak, and then county and TB with FTA. In our opinion, from county staff, this is a matter that can be easily solved. We believe there's a requirement for us to comply with FTA. We don't believe we can just proceed and close and remain in compliance with FTA. But this might be as simple as establishing contact. It might be as simple as making a call and validating with FTA, just as we learned they did on Friday. Is there anything else that needs to be done? If there isn't, then subject close and we move on to the next one. As county staff, I will argue, we don't want to put the county in a position when then the county is found to be in non-compliance with the grants. And that's what we have been striving for. If there is any other document that has not been shared with us other than those that I have briefly summarized here, we're willing to receive those documents. We, at this point, without being in close coordination with the developer, cannot reach out to FTA because they are the lead. So under the contract, we need to remain respectful of the contract provisions. So I have tried to summarize many months of work and quite a few documents that are complex in nature. I don't know if my colleagues will like to add anything. If not, that concludes our presentation.
I'd just like to speak generally a little bit to this deal. It is a very complicated transaction. It's gone on for a very long time. Only recently has there been a flurry of activity, and perhaps some of that activity should have occurred earlier in order to for us to be able to close soon. We are working hard to accomplish everything that needs to be done in order to close soon. But our overreaching objective here as staff is to ensure that PalmTran, when it returns, is able to function well and properly. The reason this deal is so complicated is because we're selling part of the property, they're building above us. We need to make sure PalmTran can function. And this is one of those situations where the devil is in the details, and there are a lot of details, an immense number of them. We are working as diligently as we can, and we will get this done for them. We want to accomplish it, we want to get it closed, we want to get it done. It's just a complicated deal. And we need the information that we request back in order to evaluate it and get to where we need to be.
Thank you. Just a follow-up question on that where you're talking about the need for the permits for the circulation. Is there a way to contractually obligate Transit Village for that? I mean, understanding that those permits will expire after a short period, or a relatively short period of time, if they're not, if work doesn't begin on that. Is there another way to address this through contractual obligation as opposed to actually having the permit in hand?
So they currently have a contractual obligation to provide that. Here's the challenge. We are not the permitting authority,
I
right?
understand.
So what may happen very well is that we may have an obligation in place and the city may indicate, well, we're not gonna authorize those improvements. Now, on the letter of approval of the city that came for the DAC, there's a condition that says that a new traffic study must be completed with the city, not with the county, right? So that's one of our concerns as county staff. What happens if what has been agreed with between the developer and the county is no longer viable? Now we have a transit operation that is at a temporary site not owned by the county, and that's important, We have a permanent site that has been built out. The traffic improvements that we envisioned were going to be necessary for that permanent operation to be feasible are not in place because they cannot be permitted. And now we are in between two very difficult conditions. So the agreement itself, back in 2012, and I was not here in 2012, right? But I have been granted the privilege of having very lengthy conversations with those that were sitting at this table, and Howard, I think, was at the time as well. So I have benefited from that knowledge as well as the files. The agreement was built on the premise of, this is not your day-to-day project. We want to make sure it's doable. We want to make sure it can be built. So let's front-load it so that we get all the permits and we have the reassurance that at the time we convey the property, the project will be viable as we envision it. So as I have stated to Transit Village before, and even on one of the letters I've signed, we're not asking of them and will not ask of them more than is required under the agreement, but we believe as county staff, we cannot accept less. I cannot sit here and recommend an easement that is a blanket easement. I cannot recommend an easement for them when our own easement and access right to ensure that palm trend operations will be viable are not even on the table yet. That's a draft that we have not even discussed and has not been covered, right? We cannot recommend an easement without a legal description. We cannot recommend acceptance of the drawings when we know there are permits pending. So those are the challenges we see. To Howard's point, we believe everything can be worked through, certainly. And we continue to put endless hours into this project to make it happen and to do all the evaluation that is required.
Okay, thank you. Commissioner Marino, you recognize, and Commissioner Bernard.
Thank you. And this is a lot more information and a lot of time taken on something that isn't what we're voting on. But the reason I had this conversation start, and I apologize that it has taken so long, I was asked, what do we need to do to make this deal close? And I think the conversation has been had today. It looks like it needs to be worked out. We can't do it here at this time. What we have in front of us is a simple receive and file and approve the First Amendment. And that is different than the conversation that we've just had for 20 minutes. But the conversation we had for 20 minutes was important because everybody's now hearing what is of concern to each side. We as the commissioners can't work that out. You as staff and Transit Village need to work that out. And that you don't want to work, no comments. No more comments.
Well, don't I get an opportunity to respond to the inaccurate comments that were just made? I mean, that's just really not fair.
This is, what we're here to do today is this receive and file and approve the First Amendment. And I was asked by you all yesterday what you need to do to close. The blueprint of that has now been laid out. I would appreciate staff and Transit Village hammering out those details. But right now, what is on the table is receive and file and approve the First Amendment. And if there is no more, I think Mac has his line on, but I would like to make the motion to do that so we can start moving on.
Okay, Mac, Commissioner Bernard, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Wow, this is very, very complicated. It is complicated, and I want to thank Ismi and your whole staff for working on this, and Howard. But I do believe that we need to find a way to create some form of a timeline and to engage the county administrator and Ms. Denise Kaufman to kind of like step in to help us navigate this issue. I would hate to, since I've heard so much, and normally I would say, hey, let's create a timeline to try to get this thing done, but I think that we need to engage Ms. Baker, Ms. Kaufman, to figure out a way to get all the parties to the table to address some of these issues. And I've been since this was in my district for 6 years, And Mr. Mayor, I'd love to stay engaged and be part of the conversation to try to move this forward. And I know this is not part of the motion, but I think that this is really complicated.
So-
And
Could I ask, I'd like to ask the board if you would authorize that we give Commissioner Bernard the authority to represent us in the meetings and be a part of these meetings if there's no objection.
Second.
We have no objection. So Commissioner Bernard, thank you, and I appreciate your 6 years of leadership on this. I
hated this
would-
project for 6 years.
So it starts back with me when I was on the planning board in West Palm Beach.
Wow.
Probably the first year I was on that board is when we first got this case. So, but I appreciate you doing that and your willingness to serve as our liaison for these meetings. So thank you very much. And so, do you, Administrator Baker, do you need to?
Just to reemphasize, yes, the board did tell us to move forward on this issue at our previous meeting, but we were already proceeding. And I've been with this since I was a baby with long black hair. And so it has gone through a number of iterations. And so part of it is also going to be to bring the city to the table, and I will reach out to the city manager as well, because there are a number of key factors that we have discussed over the years, such as how the roads are being designed or redesigned, what's going to happen with traffic and how it flows, since that is going to be our major intermodal for our transit system. Our circulation has to work, otherwise our timing will be completely off. And so those are other things that we need to make sure we're working with the developer, but we also need to make sure we're working with the cities. It's very complicated with a lot of issues, but I think it will work. We've all bought into this years and years ago. We're still at the table with it. We now have a developer that's moving this along. We want to work with them, but we need to make sure that we're protecting the county and our operations so that when we come back and make this recommendation to you, and I believe we can definitely do that, we need to make sure we've got enough actual specificity within the agreement that we can hold each other to. So if you will allow us, we have a meeting already scheduled for tomorrow with the development team. I will reach out to the city manager and extend an invitation if they want to sit in the meetings so they can hear what's going on, but we'll continue to work this out and get this completed.
Okay, thank you. All right, so we have a motion. Oh.
By Commissioner Marino.
By Commissioner Marino. We have a second by Commissioner Bernard. This is on items 6A, 1A, and B. All in favor? All opposed? That motion carries 7-0. Thank you very much, and thanks for everybody's cooperation, and we look forward to seeing this item come to fruition relatively soon. Okay, moving on. We have item 6A2. This is
I will move item 6A2, motion to approve an agreement for purchase of land. This is all having to do with Palmar, A, B, C, D, E, and F. I don't think we need to read them all, but it does take if I'm not mistaken, a supermajority. So we need at least 5.
Okay, we have a motion by Commissioner Marino on item 6A2, A, B, C, D, E, and F. We have a second by the Vice Mayor. All in favor, all opposed. This motion carries 7-0. All right, moving on to item 6A. Where are we at? Oh, that was continuation.
6A3.
6A3.
Also in my district. So I will make the motion. We can discuss. Roger Dean is here. Thank you all for being here today, if that's okay with you, Mayor.
Yep. Does anyone need a presentation on this item? No. Nobody's requesting a presentation. Okay. Do we have any cards on this item?
Nope, no cards.
Okay, we have no cards. All right, so this is 6A3, and this is a motion to approve A, B, we need a motion to approve.
I will make a motion to approve A, B, C, and D. I do have some comments too, though.
Okay, we have a motion by Commissioner Marino to approve items 6A3, 6A3, A, B, C, and D. We have a second by Commissioner Baxter. All right, is there any discussion from the board on this item? Seeing none, we have comments from Commissioner Marino.
I'd like to see the folks here that are recognized from Roger Dean Stadium, and thank you for working with the county. Thank you for being up. Last week, we did speak with Meredith Ivy from DEO, and this is this is the reason that baseball is here. We have 2 stadiums, we have 4 teams. The economic impact of this is tremendous. Without the improvements on this stadium, we would have lost all of you. So we can't have that. So the county is happy to be a partner on this. I'll also like to say, Jupiter, the town of Jupiter will see the same economic impact in their town. They're surrounded. You are surrounded by the town of Jupiter. And I'd like to actually give a little shout out to the MacArthur Foundation years ago, who actually donated this land for this development. And I think that gets lost on the record, so I wanted to just put that out there on the record. And I hope that the town of Jupiter continues to work with us on what will be a partnership going forward. So again, I love having Roger Dean Stadium in my district, and I know we have another stadium in another district, but thank you for being here today, and we've got a motion and a second, right?
I just have one quick comment.
Commissioner Bernard has a comment.
Just real quick, Commissioner Marino, I know that you've been working hard on this, and just want to congratulate you. Although we're not giving a presentation, but it's a lot of hard work, and want to commend you for the work that you've done with your office and administration to get this deal done. Thank you.
All right. Oh, yeah, they are playing. They're playing as we speak. Okay, so we have a motion and a second on item 6A3. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor, all opposed, that motion carries unanimously. Thank you very much for being here, and wish you all the best success in this season. All right, moving on to item 6B1. This is a motion to adopt a resolution of the County Board of County Commissioners authorizing the issuance not exceeding $140 million. And in a bond, is this to do with, this also to do with this is a companion item for item 6, for Roger Dean.
I'll make the motion for the district commissioner.
I'll second it.
Can you do that?
Yeah, I'm just saying, I'm just making the motion.
Okay, so we have a motion by Commissioner Bernard, a second by the Vice Mayor. This is to create the bond or the issuance of the bond for this project. Any further discussion? I don't see any cards. Seeing none, all in favor, all opposed. This motion also carries, this one carries 6-0 with Commissioner Marino off the dais.
Oh, no, but
Oh, she's on her way back? We'll hold it open? Is she on her way back?
It's a little joke.
Here she comes. All right.
It didn't pass, Maria.
Do we have your vote? Yes. Yes, okay, make that 7-0. Okay. Sorry about that.
You can always track back.
Item 6, we are now on item 6C1. This is a bond for the revenue bond for the Lake Worth Towers by the Housing Finance Authority of Palm Beach County. Neither the taxing power nor the faith and credit of county nor any county funds are pledged to pay the principal, redemption premium, if any, or interest of these bonds. Does anyone need a presentation?
No.
Seeing none, would somebody like to make a motion? Our District 3 Commissioner, Commissioner Barnett, makes a motion. Our District 4 Commissioner, Commissioner Woodward, makes the second. All in favor, all opposed. That motion also carries 7-0. All right, we are going to get an overview of engineering and public works. Before we do that, can we take a 5-minute recess?
Yes.
Okay.
It's a lot of tea.
Oh, we are still waiting for a couple of our commissioners still. Okay, we'll.
Are we waiting?
Why don't we go ahead and get started? Just, and for everybody to be aware, we hopefully will be able to break for lunch about 1 p.m. and then we will be back at 2 p.m. for matters by the public. Mr. Ricks, the floor is yours.
All right, thank you, Mayor and Vice Mayor and Board of County Commissioners. Good afternoon. I'm David Ricks, County Engineer. With me at the table is Patrick Rutter, Assistant County Engineer, Liz from the County Attorney's Office, and Steve Carey, my Assistant County Engineer. Also in the audience, members of my key management team, Melissa Akert, Assistant Traffic Division Director, Morton Rose, Director of Roadway Production, Adam Faustini, Director of Road and Bridge, Craig Puzzi, Director of Survey Division, and Alexa Wilhite, Director of Administrative Services, and Scott Cantor, Director of Land Development. So this is a general organizational chart of engineering public works. We've broken into 8 major functions you can see on the chart. We have several offices, and that's a picture of our key leadership team. The main administrative office at Vista Parkway, and we have a large portion of our blue-collar team at 2300 Jog Road. That's where we have our traffic ops and our road and bridge team. This is a quick snapshot in terms of the broken out of our department. We've got a table of allowances of 469 positions, and you look at the chart on the table on the right-hand side of that chart. You can see how we've done a recent analysis in terms of where our ages of our team is broken out, and over the past 5 or 6 years, we've gotten younger. That means that a lot of our mature folks, senior folks, are retiring, but it requires a lot of training and mentoring of our younger folks. During the past 5 years, department, 5+ years, has been going through a transformation. We've updated the mission and vision, and just recently we created a whole set of new core values. And we use those core values as we select our employees of the quarter. And the part of that transformation was the development of a strategic plan. And because we've had a tremendous amount of engagement with our employees, we've gone through several iterations. And we just published the 3rd version of that plan, and I sent that to the board about a couple weeks ago. And employee engagement is a key part of that plan. And part of the transformation, I would like to just say thanks to several key departments who helped us along this journey. Department of Environmental Restoration, ERM, that helped us with our stormwater evolution in terms of how we got equipment and stay in compliance. Information Technology Services, they helped us with our GIS support. They just did tremendous effort in terms of that effort on that. And water utilities, as we develop our stormwater operations, we actually work with them to help us actually set up this operation, how we work with our stormwater team and equipment. So it's a key effort in the water utilities. And then lastly, I'd like to thank Fire Rescue. As part of our evolution in terms of making sure we're safety conscious, some of our equipment, we actually operate basically with a single person, and we actually they assisted us in terms of how we can enhance our safety procedures, especially working at ditches with we call it MINSI operation. And so we now have a new safety protocol thanks to the fire department about doing that. So thank you for all those help. So looking at our different functions, the executive office, myself, and Joanne Keller, we're the executive office. We help lead the team. Then looking at administrative service, they help pay our bills and keep us on budget, and it's huge. And one of the things they recently created a public information services for public outreach. So now we have an Instagram and a Facebook piece on that. One big division is construction coordination. And when a project goes out to bid, they manage those projects until final completion. And also, if there's any other utilities having a permit in our right-of-way, they inspect those permits to stay there, make sure they stay compliant. Looking at the workload, they have a lot on their plate. We have basically currently about 28 projects ongoing at a value of $98 million. It's some form of construction, either starting, middle, or ending. So they're very busy. Next is land development. They process permit applications. They ensure compliance with the county land development code. And looking at the workload, they processed a lot of permits last year. You can see on the chart there, over 1,200 permits were processed last year. They're also award-winning. They recently received 2 NACO awards to basically take a lot of the paper process and make it electronic. And a big thanks to ISSS department to help us with that process. So thanks for all the help with that. Now I'll turn it over to Steve Carey to talk about Road and Bridge.
Road and Bridge is our largest division in engineering, almost 200 strong. They are our boots on the ground, and they are our hurricane heroes. They're responsible for the maintenance of our 300 or so bridge structures, including our 8 bascule or drawbridge structures over the intercoastal. They also maintain over 3,500 lane miles of paved roads with an extensive road resurfacing program, currently averaging about 10 to 20 million a year. And they operate and maintain the county's 2 sand transfer pumping stations. Next slide. This slide just depicts the different sections of road and bridge. So we have a construction section that is in charge of our resurfacing program, our pathway program, and our drainage repairs and small roadway improvement projects. We have a bridge section that is in charge of inspections, our bridge maintenance and repairs, and managing our bridge tender group. We have a road section that is in charge of potholes, mowing, edging, and grading our non-paved roads. And we have a stormwater section, which leads me into the next slide, which we've enhanced and expanded. The goal is to minimize flooding and improve water quality within our water bodies. Within this group, we have street sweepers and pathway sweepers. We have a CCTV truck that inspects our underground drainage system, and we have 2 Vector trucks that cleans that underground drainage system. And we have, as Dave mentioned, we have 4 Menzie muck trucks, and they maintain and clean our wet ditches. And we also have a dredge group that operates our sand transfer plants. Next slide. So this is just some pictures of our bridge guys in action. So a couple months ago, we closed the 707 Bascule Bridge at night during 2 weekends, and our bridge staff performed much-needed deck repairs and lock replacement project, all in-house, saving the county by not contracting this work out. Next slide. So we're still in progress with the inventory and mapping of the county stormwater infrastructure. We completed the mapping strategy, and we're currently issuing task orders. This is our first phase of developing a stormwater master plan. Next slide. And Road and Bridge is currently finalizing the plan to add artificial intelligence cameras to our 8 bascule drawbridges. The approved budget is $2 million. This system will aid our bridge tenders by monitoring activity above and below the bridges, and it will trigger an audible warning if anyone or anything is detected. Next slide. So moving on to our streetscape section, they're responsible for the maintenance of 150 miles of landscape thoroughfare medians, this includes contracting out with vendors for the maintenance, the mowing, and the trash collecting. I'm happy to say we're currently on a twice-a-month maintenance cycle. Next slide. And so Streetscape also has a tree trimming group and an irrigation group, and this slide just shows how we use telemetry technology to control and monitor our irrigation systems. Next slide, turning it back over to Dave.
Thank you, Steve. Survey division. This is a critical division. This division from surveying services to many county departments and agencies. We have the largest, basic survey network in the state. They work closely with planning and zoning and updating maps using the graphic information system technology. Next one is roadway production. This is our capital program. They manage the county's 5-year road program. This plan is updated twice a year. We just had the recent update in December, and then we have a mid-year update in July. Currently, we're in the FY23, FY27 program. Current dollar value of our program of 5 years is $249 million. We also have continuing service contracts. We also have several sections. Our contract sections manage all contracts going out for bid and proposals, and then once they're done, they're submitted to the board for approval and authorization. We have a thoroughfare road section managing projects for our major roads. Local roads, that's mainly any roads that's not on an arterial. And we have a local road section that look at minor projects for sidewalks or just major resurfacing for those local roads. Our right-of-way acquisition division section manage all of our projects acquiring a temporary or permanent easement for our projects. And then we have a special project section doing studies and reviews for potential road realignment or road studies, that type of thing. Looking at the projects over the past 18 months, we've been a little busy. About 12 projects totaling about $56 million that was approved by the board. Now, looking forward, we've got pretty big workload. Looking for FY this calendar year, about $98 million that we've got in the pipeline, about 19 projects. So looking at the infrastructure, we have, just like Steve indicated, we've got 3,500 lane miles. You can see on the map there and highlighted in yellow just the network of all those roads. And those are basically arterial roads and local roads. Now, if you look at just the arterial network, there's what we call the thoroughfare network. And that's a key aspect in terms of what the board needs to consider as looking at major development. These are critical roads, and as part of our county comprehensive plan. And these are based upon future decisions, looking at traffic, looking at development, and then staff would recommend in terms of potential additions or deletions from that network. But it's a long-term planning tool for the board to consider major improvements looking at 10 to 15 years in the future. Now, speaking of traffic, now leads me to a traffic division. We have a large, in terms of signal infrastructure, over 11,000 signals, as you can see on the chart there. And if you look at the number of intersections, basically that we manage, about 1,200 intersections. And that includes the ones for DOT and all the ones for the cities, except for a couple. And looking at, in terms of how we install signals, there is a process in terms of we call a manual uniform control devices, traffic devices, that we use as a federal standard. DOT also uses that same standard. And once we go through that process, then we'll look at authorizing a traffic signal potentially for that. Like I said earlier, we operate all the signals within this geographic range, geographic boundary, including the ones for DOT. And for the DOT, actually, we get reimbursed for that. And one of the key challenges is that the reimbursement rate doesn't cover all of our costs. And so we've had conversations at the local level, DOT District 4, and also at the state level. And hopefully we'll get a modification to that traffic maintenance agreement to give us better reimbursement. And also we have a traffic management center. Basically, it's kind of like the brain center, the brain of all of our traffic network. We worked out jointly with the District 4 in terms of managing that operation. And as technology, it needs to be updated, and we're working with District 4 to come up with an updated plan in terms of what the infrastructure should look like. But that is going to be real key as we go forward with all the traffic needs that we got coming forward. So streetlights, streetlights, the policy is that we put those on multi-lane roads, meaning two lanes in each direction and unincorporated areas. And then the other issue is in terms of, when do we actually ask for new infrastructure or updated traffic lights or road realignment on a new development? And in the past, up in 2013, traffic concurrency was the rule of law, meaning that if you want to put a development and if it impacted our traffic network or road network, you actually had to do the improvements before you put a shovel in the ground. That policy has been changed at the state level, and so now it's proportionate share, where basically the developer provides only a portion of the infrastructure needs, and then we as a county will have to collect the other dollars through other means before we actually do the improvement. So a lot of times the development will finish and the improvements will lag sometime after that. We have been really aggressive applying for grants. Last week in Tallahassee, myself, Mayor, Commissioner Marino, Commissioner Woodward, and Commissioner Barnett met with the DOT Secretary, Mr. Perdue. He iterated the funding for State Road 7. Right now, his look is programmed for FY28, and also he gave us an update on State Road, State Road 80 lighting that whole corridor. Right now, it's programmed through FP&L, FY24 construction. And then we asked for the state to help us as we go for grants, to help review some of our grant applications. So we've been, somewhat successful with some of our grants. Some of the big ones we were unsuccessful. It's getting very competitive, And so we would like to get their assistance to look at some of our grant application. They said they would do that, so it would be huge to do that. So again, thank you for the opportunity to present in terms of our team and what we do every day. But I want to thank Patrick Rutter from County Administration, Ms. Baker, for allowing me to lead this team. And thank you, Board of Commissioners, for basically providing support to our department, because this transformation could not have happened without all of you providing support. And so this is an honor to present what our team does every day. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Ricks. Commissioner Marino, and then Vice Mayor Sachs.
You have a large team, and you do a great job, and I just want to say thank you. And it was so fun to actually tour all, the facilities over there on Jog Road. And for those of the people that don't know it, a traffic light is about as tall as I am. And I do appreciate the speed at which you answer our constituents' calls, because we get a lot of them, whether it's mowing in a median or it's signs designating this as a park and you can't be here after 4 o'clock. So I do appreciate all that you do for us and the openness in which you communicate with our offices. Thank you.
Thank you. Vice Mayor, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mayor. I just want to thank David Ricks and your team, especially you, David. We have a lot of issues in District 5 with Lyons Road. And Ms. Baker, we have started to visit all of the HOAs and country clubs along Lyons Road from Clipmore to Atlantic Avenue. And when I go to the folks to talk to them, David's always by my side. Sometimes he's actually in front of me, which I appreciate. But folks they're upset, but your engineering department is always there standing with me as their representative and as county staff. And we are even having the construction company come with us, Ms. Baker, this week and next. Every night, we're going to a different HOA. So that the county stands together as a team. Things happen out there, and sometimes the roads don't get constructed as quickly as everybody would like them. I'm sure that we do but I was going to say I'm sure they do better in other states and cities, but you know what? We do damn well good here, and we do the best we can, and I think we've got a winning team, Ms. Baker, and I want to thank you for this staff and Mr. Ricks. And I look forward to working with them as we develop. We need roads, and as I've said it before, we do it right the first time, and we are, and we will. Thank you so much, sir, and your team, and thank you, Ms. Baker, for a winning team. Thank you.
Thank you. All right. Well, thank you very much for this in-depth presentation on engineering, and thank you and all of your staff for their hard work. I mean, as it's been mentioned, you guys tend to get a lot of the calls as our folks are driving around, walking around, or biking around Palm Beach County, and there's something out of sorts. You're the first to hear about it, and appreciate the support you give and your responsiveness to our constituents' needs. All right. Thank you. All right, moving on, we are now on to, we are going to recess as a Board of County Commissioners, and we are going to convene as the Environmental Control Board for item 7A1.
I make a motion to approve the appointment of one member to the Environmental Appeals Board for a term of 3 years beginning March 14th, 2023 to March 13th, 2026.
We have a motion by Commissioner Marino. We have a second by Commissioner Baxter. All in favor, all opposed, that motion carries 7-0. And we are adjourning as the Environmental Control Board. We will reconvene now as the Board of County Commissioners. And item 8A, this is Commission District Appointments, and we will start at my far left, and that would be Commissioner Barnett. Do you have any district appointments?
Thank you, Mayor. I have one appointment, Brandon Cabrera, to Discover the Palm Beaches.
We have a motion for Brandon Cabrera to be appointed to Discover the Palm Beaches by Commissioner Barnett, and a second by Vice Mayor Sachs. And all in favor, all opposed, that motion carries 7-0. Any further? Okay. Commissioner Woodward.
Yes, I have a nomination for Brian Stenberg to the Planning Commission.
We have a motion by Commissioner Woodward, a second by Commissioner Marino. All in favor, all opposed, that motion carries 7-0. Thank you. Commissioner Marino.
Oh, sorry, I have two.
No. Sorry about
Sorry.
that.
I also have a nomination for Dan Kane to the Business Development Board.
Okay, we have a motion for Dan Kane, the Business Development Board, by Commissioner Woodward, a second by Vice Mayor Sachs. All in favor, all opposed, that motion carries 7-0. Anything else? Okay. All right, Commissioner Marino, you're recognized.
Thank you. I would like to appoint Ms. Abby Baker to the Library Advisory Board.
We have a motion by Commissioner Marino to appoint Ms. Addie Baker to the Library Advisory Board. We have a second by Commissioner Baxter. All in favor, all opposed, that motion carries 7-0. That's it.
That's
Okay.
it. Thank you.
All right, Commissioner Bernard.
None, Mr. Mayor.
Commissioner Baxter.
I would like to appoint Keith Wedgeworth, or reappoint Keith Wedgeworth to the Business Development Board.
We have a motion by Commissioner Baxter to appoint Keith Wedgeworth to the Business Development Board, and a second by Commissioner Bernard. All in favor, all opposed, that motion carries 7-0.
And if it's okay, Mayor, I'd like just one point of personal privilege.
Of course.
I would like to congratulate Mayor Shore on his appointment to the Water Resource Task Force.
Okay, well, thank you. All right, and Vice Mayor, do you have any appointments today?
I do, Mayor. I'd like to appoint Jeff Green to the Business Development Board.
All right, we have a motion by Vice Mayor to appoint Jeff Green to the Business Development Board. We have a second by Commissioner Barnett. All in favor, all opposed, that motion carries 7-0.
Thank you. That's it.
That's it. And I do not have any appointments for today. Okay, moving on, administration comments. Receive and file.
I have none. Ask you to file and receive board directives.
As requested. All right, County Attorney.
We're going to do a vote on the receive and file.
Oh, do we need to have a vote on that? Okay, we have a motion from Commissioner Marino, a second by Vice Mayor Sachs to receive and file. All in favor, all opposed, that motion carries 7-0.
And with the mayor's permission, I did have an update for the board.
If I stop coughing, yeah.
If I can stop coughing. Basically, in the first week of January, the county attorney's office received a letter from the Florida PACE Funding Agency. And in that letter, they canceled their interlocal agreement with us and said that they were unwilling to abide by the county's ordinance on the PACE program. The Board of County Commissioners did an ordinance on the PACE program basically to provide consumer protections to the public, particularly in light of complaints and testimony that we had received concerning concerns with the administration of that program. They based their termination of our agreement on a judgment they received in Leon County. Many other counties throughout Florida received a similar termination letter. At this time, I have replied to their letter to us and told them that we disagree with their legal interpretation, and we expect them to stop doing business in Palm Beach County unless they want to enter into a new interlocal agreement with us and abide by the terms of our consumer protections. So pending some response from them, we're likely to be coming back to the board to bring further requests to you in order to initiate litigation against them.
Thank you. Are there any questions for the county attorney? I do. Yes, Vice Mayor, you're recognized.
Thank you for protecting the residents of Palm Beach County. This has been a conversation that's been going on way before I sat on this board. And frankly, I always had some questions about it, but knowing that our county attorney's office is there as a safety parachute for all of us, I appreciate it, and go get them. Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much. Anything else? Okay. All right, moving on. We're now to item number 10, Commissioner comments. So we will start with Commissioner Wand.
That would be me. Okay. Wow, when was the last time we actually convened? Thank you all to those of you that came out to the final Honda. There has been a date set for next year, and a sponsor will be announced in the next several months. So please continue to put that on your calendars. It was a great event, and I thank everyone from our board that came. Thank you. And I see you snagged a Honda lanyard. Okay, well, you got to retire that in like 3 or 4 months when we get a new sponsor. Just saying. He had to get his. I do want to say thank you very much to our staff who traveled with us to Palm Beach County Day, and love my beads. And I don't know if Maria Sachs got her beads yet. Did you get your beads for Palm Beach County Day?
No, but you can give me yours.
Here you go. Would you like me to bead you?
No, it's okay. Not now.
So you have your beads now. It was wonderful for all of us to get together and show our legislators just why we're up there, and how important it is for them to hear our voices, because there are a lot of things up there that we don't agree with. So I thank the rest of the commission that went up with us all, and look forward to Greg and I going to Legislative Day tomorrow for Florida Association of Counties. And also just want to say that, it's nice to see our board working together, and thank you again to staff. Sometimes we throw you curveballs at like dark 100 the night before a meeting, and you get it all together and do a presentation like we did with Transit Village today. And it is a heavy lift, and we do appreciate you taking the time. So with that, I'm done. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you very much. District 3, Commissioner Barnett.
Yes, thank you, Mayor. I also want to echo Commissioner Marino's thanks to our legislative affairs people and public affairs folks who escorted us to Tallahassee for Palm Beach County Days. It was my first time in Tallahassee for Palm Beach County Days. I'm grateful for everything I was able to learn, and hopefully contribute to the team that led the way to hopefully bring home a lot of funding for projects very important to us here in Palm Beach County. I especially want to thank Ms. Virginia Baker, our administrator, Ed Chase, Todd Bonlaren, both of them who did a lot of hand-holding, taking me through the Capitol. Kelly Burke, of course, who was with me for almost every moment. The firefighters, including Angela D'Ariano, Chief Kelly, and the fellow commissioners who were with us, walking from legislative office to legislative office. I also want to thank you, Mr. Mayor, for your leadership on promoting our county as no place for hate. The forum at the South County Civic Center, I was lucky enough to be in attendance, was very eye-opening, and I'm grateful to this commission for passing this ordinance today unanimously. I think it sends a huge message. And the support of the commissioners today on working to make sure that not just the Criminal Justice Commission, but every single board that we have the power to appoint people to is appropriately represented by all voices in our community. Grateful to be able to work with you, as always. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. District 4, Commissioner Woodward.
Yes, thank you. I would also like to echo Palm Beach County Days was my first time there for that, and what a great experience, especially having so many people from Palm Beach County all present in the same place and kind of held hostage together for a couple days. It was nice. I learned a lot, and look forward to being much more involved next year, having the time to kind of work through a committee session and get some of our priorities done. I do look forward to that. I would like to, I sent a memo out to everyone. I took a tour of a veterans group, and I was also approached by a separate individual about having the county have a veterans advisory board. And I was like, well, that's actually something that I can do and do very quickly. So I wanted to bring it to my fellow board members to see about giving staff direction on putting this together. We have, I believe, the largest veterans population in the state of Florida, right here in Palm Beach County. And the VA, they do a fantastic job, and the federal government does what they can, but I think there's some gaps that a lot of our nonprofits fill, and we have we have a county administration department that handles this also. I just think that we could do a little better with the communication between them. So I would like to, and I've never done this before, but initiate staff to put this together. I'd like to, maybe have further meetings, and if anyone else has thoughts on that, but I think this is definitely something that we should do and put out there. And as noticed today, this morning, we had people very interested in joining our boards. I am happy to see that, and hopefully we'll have the same response for this board as well.
Is there any objection to Commissioner's proposal? Seeing none, so staff is so directed.
Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. All right, moving on, District 6.
I wanted to echo what my fellow commissioners were saying with thank you to our legislative team for such an amazing experience going up to Tallahassee. So thank you. Absolutely just a wonderful experience. I want to also thank staff and Administrator Baker and just organizing everything, putting it together, making sure that 300 plus people from Palm Beach County just had an amazing experience. I can't tell you how grateful I am for that. So thank you again. And I would also just like to thank Commissioner Barnett for making it possible for us to meet with certain legislative bodies up there that maybe we wouldn't have been able to previously. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Commissioner Bernard, you're recognized. District 7.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Two things. I'd like to request an off-site proclamation declaring April 1st, 2023 as Lieutenant General Darrell K. Williams Day in Palm Beach County. Lieutenant General Williams is the president of Hampton University, and he's a native of West Palm Beach, so looking forward to doing this off-site proclamation.
Is it a motion?
Yeah, motion.
Yeah. So we have a motion by Commissioner Bernard, a second by Vice Mayor Sachs. All in favor, all opposed. That motion carries 7-0.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. And then finally, just some of the comments regarding Palm Beach County Day. And as we know, the session is 60 days, and we were there last week, and some of us are going to for a fact this week, because whenever the legislator is there for 60 days, they can cause a lot of damage to our residents in Palm Beach County. So we just have to stay vigilant and to continue to advocate on behalf of the residents of Palm Beach County. Just want to personally recognize some of the team that really worked hard for Palm Beach County Day. Ed Chase, Casey Denny, Victoria Nolan from the Legislative Affairs Office, and also from Public Affairs, with the leadership of Ms. Baker and also Todd Von Laren leading that department. But, just want to special kudos to the director of that department, Lisa Del Riondo, because on that Wednesday night, I saw the team, how they were just working so hard to make sure that Palm Beach County Day was a very, very successful Palm Beach County Day. So I really would love for us to give them a round of applause for their work in Palm Beach County. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you very much. Vice Mayor, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mayor. I'd like to have a motion to approve an off-site proclamation for All People's Day.
We have an off-site proclamation, a motion by the Vice Mayor, a second by Commissioner Baxter. All in favor, all opposed, that motion carries 7-0.
Thank you so much. Thank you, fellow commissioners. I was the recipient of Palm Beach County Days for 10 years when I served in Tallahassee, and we always figured that it was the first week of session, and it started us off on a really fun time, knowing that Palm Beach County was coming up on the first couple of days of session. So I want to thank my colleagues for being there and for bringing down the beads. I was in Buenos Aires on that day visiting our son. Marcello. And what was interesting is on March 8th, which is International Women's Day, I got to meet with the followers of Evita, who was the wife of Perón during the days of his presidency. And she started the International Women's Day in Argentina. She also made sure that her husband passed a law that every district in the country of Argentina would have 50% women representing that group. Now, I'd like to make a motion now. No, I couldn't do that. But now that we have a majority here on the county commission, I think we've already accomplished that. But it was a real eye-opener for me to meet with so many strong women in Argentina and to let them know that we are all together. Women, no matter where you are in the world, we all share the same concerns. I will be going to Tallahassee before the beginning of the middle of the session. And I'll probably be going with some of our staff up there. You have all germinated the seeds, and I want to make sure that with the help of our staff that those seeds get flowered, and so that our money requests go in, and that whatever modifications we can make to the bills that have already been passed, or at least on their way to passage, get some fuel. And I want to thank Commissioner Marcy for the Veterans Services, because we're looking at a Village of Valor, which is Ms. Baker's idea, to promote this with Village of Valor here in Palm Beach County for our veterans. And having that organization started here, that would be very, very good. Thank you so much. So with that, I look forward to a wonderful week, having some of you up there in Tallahassee for us. And thank you for all that we do. Thank you. Thank you, staff.
Thank you. All right. My comments, first off, I'm asking for a motion, or I'm making a motion and asking for your permission for an offsite proclamation declaring March 2023 as Pride Month in Palm Beach County. We have I have a motion. Oh, wait, I guess you have to do that for me. Sorry, you have to make the motion.
It would be my honor and privilege on your behalf, Mayor, to ask for a motion declaring March 2023 as Pride Month in Palm Beach County.
We have a motion by Vice Mayor Sachs, second by Commissioner Marino. All in favor, all opposed, that motion carries 7-0. I need to make an announcement. A reminder that the library is unveiling the first library vending machine. It's down on the first floor, so after we finish up here, hopefully you can run downstairs and we can get a demonstration and take a picture. And I'm just incredibly proud of the collaborative efforts our residents, our businesses, and other local officials we came together up in Tallahassee for Palm Beach County Days. We were able to highlight some of the critical concerns of our county, and everybody's participation has been invaluable and is very helpful in fostering positive change in our community. There was a town hall, and I appreciate Commissioner Burnett and Woodward, your participation or attendance at that town hall is much duly noted. There were over 300 attendees in person, plus a large number of people who watched it online. I am very grateful for the opportunity to have a discussion regarding the importance of creating a safe place and a safe environment for all members of our community. And it's essential we remain vigilant in our efforts to address hate and discrimination everywhere, and that we create a culture of inclusivity and tolerance here in Palm Beach County. With that, we will be in recess until 1 or 2 p.m., and we'll be back for Matters by the Public. Oh, I'm sorry. Commissioner Baxter, you're recognized.
Thank you. I almost forgot. I am having a town hall on this Wednesday at night at the Seminole Ridge High School regarding code enforcement for anyone who would like to attend and hear it for yourself at 6:30 p.m. Wednesday night. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Okay, we are in recess now until 2 p.m.
If I'm not loved and cared for now, I'll be 25% more likely to become a teen mom. That cuts my chance of graduating high school in half.
Children's Services Council, so our children grow up healthy, safe, and strong.
Let's go back on the road with Sergeant Cook.
So we just pulled back to the shelter. We're going to go ahead and case the impounds into the shelter. We're going to take them from the truck and put them into different holding areas, depending on their size and their demeanor. Back at Animal Control here, they're going to be assessed by our kennel staff and our vet staff, and we'll get them set up with some food and some water and some nice bedding. And they got a nice air-conditioned area in there, so it's going to be good for them. We're going to go ahead and pull our database back up and update the information. And whatever kennel the dog's going in here, we're going to put on our systems where when we look at our inventory, we can see exactly where this dog is at in our inventory in our shelter, just for tracking purposes. And we're going to create a kennel card for it, which is going to follow the dog around wherever it goes, where it's going to be in an intermediate holding area here first until our vet staff takes a look at it, make sure the dog's stable, its health is good and everything before it gets moved out to another kennel in the back. And then that kennel card will follow it back there with its information on it. I'm going to put you in the master suite over here. Come on inside. Good girl. Good girl. There you go. There you go. Stay. Good doggy. All right, sweetie. So we had one of the citizens call in a complaint, and they said there's a black pit bull on the sidewalk next to their building in here, and they've seen